So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto x Captain Marvel fanfiction. So let's start the series. The Shinobi world was filled with conflict at all times, no moment peace or reprieve from tragedies. Wars after war, and the fourth war had brought more destruction to the world than ever imaginable. It was destruction on a global scale, and countries had been erased from the map in the aftermath of the battle, but at last Kaguya had been sealed, and the heroes could finally grieve in peace. But life was never so fair, and it could always get worse. You know this hurts me more than it does for you. I loved you, but all you could think was how to end me. I would have given you a chance if it didn't involve the world, but I have to make that sacrifice. I hope you understand, brother, Naruto muttered in a strangely calm tone as his hand pierced Sasuke's limbs and stomach with chakra hands as he looked on with shocked eyes. You will do great now, Naruto, Sasuke wanted to say but could only smile as his breath was lost. He knew that Naruto would now bring peace to this accursed world and kill every evil that this world had. He was sure because Naruto had maimed him with from behind, and he knew how important he was to Naruto. Naruto held him close like he was hugging him, when he heard a scream of grief. What have you done, Naruto? How could you? Sakura rushed at him and attacked in her grief, but today Naruto was not feeling so merciful, and he slapped Sakura with controlled strength so she didn't die, but enough to knock her into the nearby mountain. Do you also think I was wrong? Naruto turned to Kakashi that approached him silently. No, you did the right thing. It is my fault. I was just not the right teacher for you all, Kakashi replied, feeling the guilt inside his heart at failing his students. Naruto looked away and took out the Rinne Sharingan from Sasuke's socket and placed it on his forehead. This action was told to him by the sage along with the fact that Sasuke will try to kill him once he gets a chance. He didn't need to be told that, as Naruto could feel the killing intent targeted at him. He wasn't that stupid to ignore any negative feelings towards him. The sage had decided to make him the new sage and stop the fight of generations by just giving him the power, but he knew that it would take time to adjust to it, so he gave Sasuke a chance. With the eye fused to him, Naruto released the world from the eternal illusion and turned to Kakashi. No one will know about what happened here. He will be revered as a hero for generations. Is that understood? Naruto muttered in a matter-of-fact tone as he decided to walk away with Sasuke's unconscious body. 10 years went by like a fleeting dream. The world advanced at a rapid pace, and it was at peace finally, just like Sasuke had thought. Naruto judged the whole world in one setting and killed everyone that was evil beyond a certain level. He was revered as the hero and many feared him and hated him, but Naruto took it all. Naruto read and trained all the time, obsessed with learning and experiencing so that he would not make mistakes again. Naruto had felt a part of him die the day he realized that some people were just evil and that not everyone deserved a second chance. He had chained Sasuke down and made him his loyal servant, using a seal on his heart. Naruto kept him on a leash while Sasuke didn't mind, as their goal was the same now. The Naruto that couldn't work with him had died that day, so he was very much happy at the result, especially because he had been right. Humans were selfish and everyone had their opinion. When opinions and desires clashed, things could go wrong. But now Naruto stood at the top and everyone knew it. They knew punishment would be swift and merciless. Naruto was the leader of the world in everyone's eyes, but he took the post of Hokage after 2 years from the war and led the nations with Shikamaru, Sasuke and Kakashi by his side. Naruto believed his actions were right and that the cycle of hatred will break after talking with intellectuals and reading, and wandering the world using his clones. There wasn't a place that he hadn't seen, and he had witnessed things that reinforced his decision to kill. He developed his senses to higher levels so he could tell if the person would actually change, and more than he could do before, as he could tell if a person had any remorse or regrets, which would indicate that the person could change. He had achieved his dreams and the world was on the right track. The people loved him and would revere him for generations. Safety and life was the greatest under his control, and no one could deny. Even though everything was done, there were threats in the shadows. Everything wasn't fine and dandy, as Sasuke found secrets of the Otsutsuki clan on his journey across the dimensions of their immortal foe, Kaguya. She wasn't alone, she wasn't the strongest, and there was a clan filled with them, and they were most likely coming for this world sooner or later. The news was alarming to the extreme. Even though Naruto had become strong enough to defeat Kaguya by the age of 20, Sasuke wasn't so far behind either. Hinata had gained the power of Tenseigin from the brother of the sage, and they had a new ally called Tonari with the same powers. They were stronger than ever, but the thought that Kaguya was not even one of the top tiers and that there were more of them put them in a dilemma. Naruto took the decision to free Kaguya. Using his powers, he gathered pieces of each Biju's chakra and combined it before breaking the seal and allowing the chakra to merge with the sleeping beauty. Black Zetsu had disappeared and seemed to have merged back into Kaguya, as he had always been just a part of her mind. Kaguya awakened with rage flowing through her body as the defeat was all too fresh, but with her limited power. It was one-sided battle, but Naruto didn't subdue her like that, and allowed her to regain all her strength to prove his superiority. Cursing his arrogance, Kaguya absorbed the energy from the world and reached her optimal state, but once again she was defeated. This time the battle wasn't so one-sided and took hours to finish, but Naruto subdued her and beat the madness out of her mind. She had never been evil according to the sage, so Naruto had taken the gamble to bring her real personality back into order. It wasn't easy, but the attempt was a success, but what they learned after this was even worse than what they had imagined. Otsutsuki clan was a clan of immortal beings from a higher level universe. They were one of the hardest beings to kill, and they were born with immense power. They had poor fertility rate, but there were at least 10,000 originals and some half-breeds. They were known as one of the strongest beings in existence with their inherent abilities. They had many different kinds of bloodline powers. They could pass all their power and knowledge to another clan member when needed. They could imprint others with a curse so that when they died, they would take over one of the bodies and resurrect. They were like parasites of the universe, especially because the clan harvested the life force from different planets across the vast number of universes. The clan didn't mess around with other big boys, and they didn't mess around with them since the lives of some ants were of no concern to them. Otsutsuki clan members moved as a group of 2 along with the Jubi, and then they would plant the Jubi into the planet after it had eaten the weaker Otsutsuki. The Jubi was a seed that grew into the Shinji tree and bore fruit that granted the Otsutsuki clan member great power and abilities. The weaker Otsutsuki member would resurrect through a vessel, and they would enjoy the harvest while the planet was destroyed as the life force was drained. The Jubi can't grow properly without such a powerful source of nutrients, so it was necessary for an Otsutsuki to be fed, and later the roots would continue to suck on the life force of the planet and the people that fell in battle. Kaguya was the weaker one in the group and should have died like usual for her partner, but she had grown tired of seeing this scene. She had enough of innocent people dying. Yes, she saw these lower beings as people and not ants. It broke her heart, and she betrayed her own clan, her partner. Her partner was called Ashiki, and she backstabbed him while he was taking a bath and relaxing. He would never have thought such a thing could happen since the Otsutsuki clan was a tight clan. They never betrayed each other. Kaguya was an anomaly among them, and she succeeded in her attempt since the power difference between them wasn't too big. She was low-class normal member, and he was just high-class normal member. The rankings went from outer members, normal members, core members, elders, royal children, and the king and his queen. Kaguya was literally at the bottom of the ranking and was taking a huge risk for outsiders. She sacrificed her own well-being and comforts for others. Ishiki escaped with extreme damage on his body, and she chased him. He died, but she was sure he would one day resurrect from a vessel, so she prepared for that day. She fed his body to the Jubi and planted it into the world, but through the bond she programmed it so that it wouldn't devour the whole world. After that she brought peace to the world, but her limited strength and the fears inside her mind got to her, and paranoia led to madness. That led to the current situation where she was sure Ishiki would soon arrive and other 2 members from another group might check the area, as it should have been decimated by now. Learning the truth about their situation would have drowned many men and disappeared, but Naruto was not even affected by such negative thoughts. With confidence and determination he had Shikamaru and other gathered to form plans for the future. They would ready the world to combat this threat, and use every resource available for the goal. For this purpose the ultimate training plan was utilized, and many fighters went through bloodline surgery to make them stronger. Naruto proved his mettle, and the blessing of the sage showed its power. With the power of the 6 paths mode that allowed him mastery of chakra, Naruto learned all kinds of jutsu and made his own. Everyone grew at an accelerated rate with the help from each other, and the fact that they didn't have to worry about the destruction they caused since the training was in Kaguya's dimensions. 7 years passed by since he awakened Kaguya and 10 years since the war. Naruto was 27 of age and had enjoyed 8 years as Hokage, but gave up the title to Konohamaru on this date as it was time for him to start his journey once again. They were not going to wait for the oppressors to come and kill them. They would find them and kill them one by one to give their world a fighting chance. They had already taken out Ishiki, who had been hiding inside another dimension, but unfortunate for him, he hadn't imagined that Kaguya would be released, so he was taken by surprise when the team entered the Otsutsuki sanctuary that was used by Kaguya and Ishiki. He had few members, but they weren't worth a glance and were taken down immediately, while Ishiki was extremely powerful. They were lucky that they were a group, or even Naruto and Sasuke together would have been killed. The battle was balanced, but Ishiki's vessel couldn't take his power since it was not a resurrection, but Ishiki's weakened body itself was still alive inside this vessel. The team barely managed to kill the vessel when he used his full power and Kaguya neutralized his karma mark. She cut off his survival chances and let Naruto eat the fruit she made out of Ishiki. This was the gift from Kaguya to Naruto, as she saw hope in the young man. With that fruit, Naruto had gained great power and knowledge, while all the strongest fighters had gained a weakened version of the Otsutsuki bloodline to strengthen their base powers. "Are you really leaving alone?" Kakashi asked as he stood behind Naruto. "Yes, this world needs protection now that I am leaving. I am the strongest being in this world, so relax. Even if I died by some chance, I would wake up in a new vessel." Naruto stood at the top of the Hokage mountain and looked down at his city, and reassured Kakashi and the others beside him. Hinata stood beside him, holding his hand tightly, conveying how much she was worried for him and her love for him, but this was something that needed to be done. "Believe in me like you have always done. Have I ever let you down?" Hearing his words inside her mind, Hinata shook her head and bit her lips. "I will always believe in you even if you don't believe in yourself, but I want to be with you. I want to walk with you, spend every moment with you. Won't you grant me this selfishness?" Naruto had not expected Hinata to say such words and was speechless as he turned his head with a wide smile. "Well, on second thought, I am taking Hinata with me." Naruto turned around with Hinata in his embrace and caused them all to shake their heads. "If you were going to change your mind at the last moment, then why did you have to play the tragic hero, leaving alone on a dangerous journey, asshole?" "Good, we don't have to worry about you overworking yourself now," Shikamaru muttered in a relieved tone. "What do you guys think of me? Do I look so careless? Screw you guys, I won't be getting you any gifts." Naruto acted dramatically and teleported them to Suna, leaving only Sasuke. "Are you taking me?" Sasuke asked calmly as he looked at the man that ruled the world with an iron fist, the man that owned him and the man he acknowledged as his brother. "I don't have the habit of SM, so I will release you now. We have achieved our goal and you have never acted out of line. You have changed for the better. You have wives and children, a family to take care of. I believe in you, that's why I didn't kill you that day, and now I leave this world under your capable hands. Kaguya might be stronger than you, but she isn't combat savvy or smart, so battles will always come down to you and Shikamaru," Naruto replied as he let go of Hinata and walked towards his brother by spirit, hugging him close just like he had done to everyone close to him, as death was real possibility. Naruto released the seal on his heart and let him free. Naruto had gotten the Rinna Sharingan on his forehead, but with the Otsutsuki genes, Sasuke had awakened it in both eyes now. He was stronger than ever and could easily defeat Kaguya because of his skills, since pure power has never really affected their chances of victory unless it's too big. "Don't talk like this is our last meeting. Come back, or who knows, I might go crazy again." Sasuke smirked as he slapped his back and let go. "I will make sure to come back soon with good news, so keep my house clean." Naruto chuckled as he heard those words. It was just Sasuke's way of showing his affection, and with that the friends separated. With a thought, a portal formed and Naruto walked into it with Hinata. Naruto and Hinata found themselves on top a tall building that was much bigger than any he had seen before and in a completely different style. He felt the world connect with him instantly, as he had been keeping Sage Mode on all the time, but there was some resistance. This could be a result of them being outsiders, so Naruto didn't force it too much, as time will solve the problem. Through it he sensed powerful life forces around the globe telling him that there were strong beings on this planet, but none of them gave him the feeling of an Otsutsuki. They might be hiding in a pocket dimension, was his first thought, and there was a need to check the information about this planet before moving on. The planet seemed to be surviving pretty well, so maybe they could help each other out, was his second thought. The humans are quite weak here and the world is smaller. It is also being polluted at a very high rate. Guess I will help it out as it comes, Naruto thought as he started floating while turning completely invisible and intangible. I will need to learn the local languages to blend in, Naruto thought when his eyes landed a young man wearing a red and blue suit with a spider logo, stuck to the walls of the skyscraper. Naruto decided he was a good choice as he seemed to have a good head on his shoulders and was a special being unlike the humans down below. Without a sign, Naruto approached Spidey and copied his linguistic abilities but nothing else as he wanted to experience it himself as info from memories could be biased and incorrect. "Hello, what are you doing?" Naruto muttered, surprising Peter, who jumped to the side and looked around as he spotted Naruto standing on the wall. How did I not feel his presence? At least the spider sense isn't going off, so he isn't a threat. I am just hanging around to rest before I swing to help the people in trouble. What about you, stranger? What brings you to this place? Spidey asked in a jovial tone to hide his wariness. Relax, I am friend from another world. I am looking for people to fight a threat that could end worlds, and I am looking for the locations of these threats as they are a nomadic race. Have you heard of the name Otsutsuki? Aliens with horns, pale skin and strange eyes, or a giant tree that sucks the life out of a planet? Naruto asked honestly as he had judged Peter to be a trustworthy person as the aura around him told him. It was an improvement of his Sage Mode ability that used to tell him when people had negative desires towards him. Now the world would help identify whether a person was good or not. Listening to Naruto's words, Peter was alarmed as that sounded terrible, but he was unsure whether the man was just playing with him or telling the truth. Sadly, he didn't have such ability. I will need to inform this encounter to the Avengers and Fantastic Four if I want some results. Sorry, I have never heard of such things, but maybe my friends could help you. They are much stronger than me, older than me, and some are smarter than me. These kinds of topics are things that they deal with. Not me. Is that so? Naruto saw the images flash inside Peter's head, so he knew how the people looked like and remembered them. This is how 2 of the members look like. Keep the picture just in case you come across such people. Don't mess with them and leave without a word or your death would be swift. A casual swipe of their hands would erase this city, Naruto warned as he formed a picture of Kaguya and Ishiki using creation of all things. Thanks for the warning. Do you want me to show you the way or you can find them? Peter felt better about the man as he heard more about this threat. I will look around a bit on my own before meeting your friends, but I won't mind if they come and find me. Also, there is a building on fire 20 kilometers from here with people inside, so see you later, Peter. Almost forgot. My name is Naruto. With those words, Peter found himself teleported above the burning building where the fire was without any heat. Definitely out my league. And hope you enjoyed and comment. This story is being edited, so the chapters might not make sense unless they have similar message about the edit. This Naruto had used his abilities to the maximum output. People should realize that Shadow Clone Jutsu is literally a cheat ability that allows Naruto to train 1,000 times in one day, since he can make that many clones without feeling tired. 1 year can mean 1,000 years of training. The experience gained from the training would make the best at anything he tried. It won't make him physically stronger, but his skill level would be impossible to beat. It doesn't matter if he is a genius or not. No one can make up such a big difference in experience without a cheat. On the other hand, the body can grow stronger with chakra usage, especially using Sage Mode, so it could be improved as well, since the real body has to focus on that one task, so he is exceptionally strong in this story but not OP. He is a lot stronger than his canon counterpart, Naruto canon, the last movie, Sage of Six Paths Mode. Chakra, enormous, can last 3 days expenditure with big booms. Durability, planetary. 1. Tsunade could survive light speed transportation with minor injuries, and she is an ant to this Naruto. 2. Survived his own chakra exploding on him with 0 defense, since it was his own chakra that caused an explosion leveling city worth of area. Only needed chakra recovery to get back up. 3. The actual reason for the durability is the fact that Naruto's durability is very close to his attack potency. 4. The beam that cut through the moon casually, and it was not completely hollowed because the branch clan wasn't that big, plus the moon would have fallen apart if it was hollow. It actually had gravity of Earth and was going to crash into the planet to destroy it. Attack potency. In the last movie his attack potency had increased by large range, or it was made clearer. Tonari intended to crash the moon into Earth and remake the whole planet. He said his castle will survive this impact as it was surrounded by the Tensagen barrier. Naruto destroyed the barrier with a Rasengan and destroyed Tonari's chakra cloak with a punch. This is a clear feat since nobody can deny that this was the plot of the story. Plus he wasn't even at full power in the movie as Kurama was fighting the golem, and Naruto only used Biju's Sage Mode, not Six Paths Sage Mode. Six Path gives enormous boost in power, way more than normal Sage Mode and Kurama's chakra. This should prove his attack potency is monstrous by this age, and even in the Boruto movie his Bijidama had moved from city-level attack to continental destroyer, as said in the movie itself by Sasuke, who is the most knowledge about him. Then in the finale Boruto uses Naruto's Rasengan to defeat Momoshiki. The Rasengan beat another Rasengan before plowing through the Shinju tree and the mountains before exploding in space. Shinju tree has roots across the planet, and was durable enough to take attacks that were large as an island look like nothing. A big ball Rasengan from a tired base Naruto. Yes, you can go check and see that it was just base Naruto with no enhancements, no Sage mode, no six-path mode and no Kurama. Strength with Kurama avatar should be in the 100,000 plus tons for lifting up a giant golem. If you don't remember, then I will remind you that Naruto picked up Kurama at one point by the tail and smashed him into the ground during their battle. Kurama is at least 50 meter tall to 100 meter tall, as he has been shown to actually dwarf small mountains. This was in just normal Sage mode before the war and the time skip. Attack area of effect, city level. Speed, faster than light. 1. We have already seen Tsunade get transported at the speed of light along with the Raikage and come out fine. 2. On screen Naruto dodged light beam from Madara and kicked him. It was a Sage art, so it had all its natural properties plus some more, meaning it was at least light speed and could be more unless you think Sage mode just gives you the normal element. 3. In the novel's attired base Hokage Naruto dodges photon guns. Jutsu, limited because of the writer, shadow clone, transformation, substitution, Rasengan variants, Sage mode, chakra enhancement, summoning, high-speed movement, chakra control, perfect, bloodline, all bijou speciality acquired and universal understanding of chakra that allows for ease of creation of jutsu. Created Rasen Shuriken variants within seconds when the Wind version took years to make. Naruto took weeks using more than 100 clones to make it, so you have to take all of it in account. The above is my opinion formed after taking into account these events carefully, and you can go check them out yourself. I just used the two movies, so it shouldn't be hard to just watch those parts. This puts Naruto in the high tier of DC and Marvel, but at the bottom of the high tier, many characters still one-shot him and destroy him because of his lack of hack skills or over-the-top physicals. This is how I think, and most people wouldn't agree with it in the debate sites, as they completely ignore the implications of the last movie and even the canon novels. In canon novels Hokage Naruto while sick dodged photon lasers, so from the logical growth of characters from last, Hokage Naruto has large planet-level attack potency and defense while MFTL speed and reaction. This Naruto will arrive there very early and also face the same sickness early. He would have died from the sickness if not for the Sage of Six Paths leaving a cure, as he knew that Naruto would get sick in the future. Dear, did you get anything from him? Hinata asked as she stood behind. Naruto had kept her hidden so Peter hadn't seen her the whole time. There was some useful information, but we can only confirm it through our own eyes. Naruto replied as he passed the information to his partner that extended her hand towards him when he was drowning in darkness from the actions he had taken. The weight of the lives had taken a toll on his soul, but her warmth had soothed him and healed him back to full power. She had showed him undying love. She showed the way to love himself and work towards his happiness for no costs. She had been selfless from the start, and would have happily let him have someone else if it was what he desired. Hinata was the first person not connected to his parents that had actually cared for him so much. Not even his other friends had really cared to this extent. They had given up easily because of some harsh words, but Hinata had taken them without a problem and broken through. She had made him fall in love, she had made him understand what true love meant, and he was never letting her go. They were married but no children yet because of this war. Naruto didn't want his children to live in such a world, and he had already planned this day, so he would have to leave them at such a young age. Holding her hand, Naruto flew over the city and stopped at a public park, in a place hidden by trees, as he felt an overwhelming presence. Is it a threat? Hinata asked through the mental link. No. Naruto waited for the observer to arrive, as he could tell it would be troublesome to escape. Thank you for not escaping, but I am curious about the why. Naruto saw a man walk out of space like it was normal and talked to him in a calm manner. It was a first in a long time, as he felt no fear from this man. The man was wearing strange clothes with a red cape. He had black hair and mustache. No problem, why should I escape? Am I guilty of something? Naruto replied with a question. He was nonchalant about meeting this strong being as he felt no fear. The reason he mentioned was true but not the only one, as he could tell that the man could follow him easily through dimensions and might even track him down, after which a battle would be inevitable and Naruto could actually feel the threat of losing. He is strong and has large reserves of some energy, and even has some connections that I can't trace down, so he can get even more powerful by asking for power. I apologize if I offended you, but I am quite used to criminals coming to our worlds, as it's rare for us to have peaceful visitors for some reason. I understand. So is there anything I should know? I am quite free, so how about you accompany me and show me around? My name is Naruto, what is yours? Also I am curious about your power, Naruto said as he made a seat for the three of them from Earth. Doctor Strange is what I am known as, and I will have to decline your request. I am a busy man, Naruto, so I cannot indulge in such things at the moment, so maybe next time. I am just glad that you are not a criminal from what I have gathered, but I will warn you regardless of that, since people change and hide their true colors. I can find you easily and defeat you. I am not alone. There are countless beings here, and if an outsider makes a mess, all of them take offense, so avoid making trouble, as things can get worse than you can imagine, Strange said in a calm manner, hiding his curiosity, as he felt nothing when Naruto made those seats. It was natural, like they existed there. I have no problem with that, and I hope we can meet again, but first I need to ask you if you know anything about a race called the Otsutsuki. Naruto replied as he got up as the seats merged back into the earth, and shared the information. Strange shook hands with Naruto and stared at him. When he heard that news, he had been expecting to leave happily after having a peaceful visitor, and then he heard such bullshit. Something is definitely wrong with this world. Strange was starting to think that this world was meant to be destroyed, which was why so many events took place. Moving on from grumblings, Strange thought about the topic to see if he had any information. I remember seeing something like this before in a book, but would not to check it again since it was a casual glance. Thanks for the warning, and I will see if we can work together later or not, since I have another problem to take care of. With those words the man vanished. Naruto looked at his hand and smirked. It was the first time someone dared to put a tracking seal on him after so long. Strange might be mysterious and using unknown energy, but it was impossible to do anything to his body without his knowledge, especially since his eyes could see energy. The seal was absorbed by his body as Naruto had his mind analyze the energy, and he took flight once again. Let's see if he can do the same to my gift. Naruto chuckled as he left something more than just a tracker. Is it okay to share this information? Hinata asked as she flew beside him. The people I am sharing it with have great morals and powers, so I am just planting some seeds. It won't hurt us in any way since we want them to come to us. Hinata nodded as she decided to keep watch of their surroundings as they flew and note down anything out of the ordinary. She had been acting as Naruto's partner for a long time, so he didn't have to ask. All kinds of data was being gathered and recorded into her device through her mind, the infrastructure and body structure of the people, Peter, Strange and some other unusual beings on the way. Naruto flew at a slow pace to take in the sights. He was in a new world, so a lot of the things were different. Everywhere he passed, any criminal doing something wrong was stuck to the ground, and anyone that had broken his rules had their lives snuffed out. Naruto didn't have to make it flashy, as he knew people will annoy him too much, and he wasn't ready to take on the world yet. He was on mission, so he will deal with it later, so for now, he was fine with just giving them natural deaths such as heart failure. We have come across so many different kinds of people so easily. I wonder if I can recruit someone with a powerful ability, Naruto mused as he floated through the clouds. He had traveled a lot, and it was night already. It was just a thought and would help his quest, but wasn't central to his plans to defeat the enemies, since he had planned from the start to use his own power and the power of his people. The fact that this world had strong people with good heart was an added bonus. Flying for so long, Naruto was unsure how far he had traveled, but cities had been passed, so he reckoned a lot of distance had been covered. Naruto was floating over a lake where he could see a small building, where young adults were having some fun. A dance party was going on, and loud music was blaring, and the participants were getting it on except some of them. Naruto's eyes were attracted to a girl that was alone, outside on the deck. She was an attractive girl with auburn hair with a streak of white and green eyes. She was wearing long-sleeved green blouse over a black halter top, a short black leather skirt, and black leggings. She wore thick combat boots, and dog collars around her neck and wrists. She is not human. Her power must have something to do with touch, Naruto analyzed without reading her mind, as he could see her wearing gloves. She is alone and feeling out of place. Reminds me of the old times. Let's see if we can bond and if I can help her out, Naruto thought as he realized that he talked a lot inside his mind. It had become a habit. It's okay, it ain't hurting anyone, Naruto thought and decided to talk with the girl while Hinata watched over them. Naruto dived down and revealed himself as he got close while he made sure no one saw them. He made it so that everyone only saw the girl just mindlessly staring out into the lake. Rogue was watching the night sky and ignoring the music that rang inside the hall. She had been trying to blend into society after her recent escape from home as her aunt had been overbearing. It was the reason she took on the name Rogue, but she wasn't feeling the adventurous vibes anymore, as she realized she could never touch anyone without hurting them. It was a fact that she realized when she kissed a guy that she liked some time back and the guy was still stuck in a coma. Will I really have to live wearing such uncomfortable clothes and avoiding contact from everyone? Even I want to feel the touch of a loved one without fearing for their life. Why am I so different? Why couldn't I have been normal instead of being a freak of nature? Who said you are a freak? You are just a kid that's confused, Naruto muttered as he heard her thoughts since they were very loud. Rogue was shocked at the voice in front of her, which prompted her to back off and almost made her fall as she screamed in shock. The night was cold and then lake was filled with noise while the barrier blocked the scream Rogue let out. Relax, I won't harm you, Naruto said as he made sure she didn't fall and floated into a standing position safely. Rogue felt embarrassed at the fact she acted like a damn child and decided to ignore that small episode. Someone like me, or is he an alien? Unfortunately, I am an alien, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand your pain. Are you reading my mind? And what do you know about my pain? Rogue was not someone that backed down even against invincible odds, so she acted like it was a normal thing. She felt annoyed as she heard the same words along with the fact the man was violating her privacy. Let's sit down and talk, it will be much better for you. Talking is a good way for lowering stress and all the negative mojo. Naruto replied in a gentle tone, and with a thought the wood extended from the pier and 2 chairs were made along with a table in between. I have a bad habit of reading people's mind, as you should understand. People are hardly trustworthy, and some don't know how to articulate their ideas well, so I have to use this ability to avoid any problems. We can argue about this later, but first let's tackle your problem. Naruto put his elbows on the table and looked at her, waiting for her to sit. Rogue didn't know what to feel about this unusual event, but she felt it was much better than standing alone or being with those people. It was scary, but she knew resistance was futile unless someone came and saved her. Maybe I can. No. Rogue was about to devise a plan to absorb Naruto's power, but she felt the thought process was repulsive and shuddered. Those are your powers, so don't fear it and learn to control it. I understand your position. I really do, as there was once a time where if I went into a hissy fit, the world would be in danger. See, now your problems don't look so big in comparison, Naruto said in a calm tone and chuckled as he tried to act like his old self. I don't think that was funny. Please tell me, you don't have that problem. Rogue sat down and asked in a worried tone. She ignored people and was annoyed at them, but that didn't mean she desired destruction. Of course not, it is an old problem, which is why I am telling you about it. So you think it would make sense if I said I couldn't control my power after training, but you should still try to use it? Rogue nodded and sighed in relief. She was starting to feel some life in her mind from this exchange, as most people didn't treat her well, and she felt uncomfortable in their presence. Rogue wasn't stupid, so she could tell. Some of it was just in her head. You were going to talk about understanding pain? Ah, yes, let us get back on track and let me start. I do understand your pain, as I can literally feel it. If I wanted, I have an experience of being shunned much worse than yours and have experienced more pain than you can imagine, but even I can understand there are people much worse, so I live on, as it would make me a coward and a disappointment if I fell from such things. Words are hard to trust, especially from strangers, so let me show you proof. Naruto talked in a slow and active manner, not realizing that he had been using chakra with his voice. His voice mesmerized Rogue along with the powerful but gentle aura she felt as he talked to her. Rogue wasn't used to superpowers yet, and nor did she know how to fight against these affects. She was lucky Naruto was a nice person and wasn't interested in taking advantage of her. Even though she was in a daze, Rogue reacted once Naruto tried to hold her hand. She had deep trauma about this subject, which caused the weak effect to disappear. Rogue quickly took distance and stared at him warily. Don't touch me. Sorry for doing that, I underestimated the shadows of the mind. But relax. You cannot affect me with your power, I can block it. Naruto muttered in a soothing tone as he did feel it was rude of him to ignore such a thing. He had gotten used to people following all his commands. It was a new experience going back down from the throne and being a normal person. Rogue looked at his extended hand and down to her own covered hand. She was hesitating since she was afraid to lose herself as her powers allowed the absorption of memories and physical capabilities along with skills. The last time it happened, she was acting like her crush without even realizing, and it made her afraid of being taken over along with the fact that her powers hurt anyone she touched. Should I do it? He doesn't seem bad, maybe it is the truth, maybe he can help me, Rogue thought, and her mind was moving the positive side even though she was a pessimistic person. Naruto only smiled as he waited for her hand. He knew she couldn't resist as he made sure of it. Naruto didn't mind if she felt anything negative for him, if she was cured of her problems. Rogue took off her gloves slowly and moved closer hesitantly, and Naruto decided to take her hand before she could get to him. She had closed her eyes, like it would make anything bad invalid. This brought a smile to his face as he saw her as a cute little child. You can open your eyes now, the world is still running and I am still standing perfectly fine, Naruto muttered with a smile as he held her hand tightly as he blocked her powers from absorbing his strength with his own absorbing powers. Both their abilities cancelled each other out, but Rogue's ability was automatic while Naruto was holding it back consciously. Very dangerous, that was what Naruto thought of this ability, as it had barely been awakened yet, and seemed so powerful. Rogue opened her eyes and saw that he was fine. She felt the warmth from his hand and felt that she had missed contact for so long as she couldn't remember how it felt. It brought a smile to her face but also brought the question, how many abilities does he have? Is he going to be danger? Why is he helping me? Oh shit! Rogue mused and realized she was sitting across a mind reader, and looked at him with an awkward smile. Haha, you are really adorable, aren't you? Naruto couldn't help but laugh. He felt a bit more relaxed now. He felt happy helping the girl and it was a nice experience, but he preferred talking with people of age as they had experience in many things while children were still too emotional. He knew that was a jab at his past tendencies, so he pretty much dismissed people that were like him on instinct. Don't treat me like a child, I am an adult, Rogue complained as she felt that he was looking down on her from his mannerism. Sorry, a force of habit, but do you feel better now? Naruto replied as he let go of her hand. Rogue looked down at her naked hand in a daze. She could tell that something was weird about her thought process. He must have pushed her into it, but she wasn't feeling much dislike for him except some annoyance, as he was overstepping his bounds, but it was for the good, so she didn't know what to feel. She felt happy but then realized that she was still stuck with this problem and could only touch this guy. And Rogue didn't think it would be a good idea to stick with him all the time. Thanks for helping me, but can you help me beyond this? Rogue stood and looked at him, hoping for a miracle as this was her only clue. What kind of help do you need? Do you want to train your powers and be someone special or lose them and become mediocre? Naruto asked in a calm tone. He wanted her to voice her opinion. Rogue stared blankly for a minute as she thought through this dilemma but finally decided on keeping them as she knew becoming normal meant hardly any choice when in danger. I want to know how to use my power without losing control. Excellent, I am happy with your choice. But even though I accept your request, I am not really knowledgeable on your power, so we will have to experiment. Absorb from me, Naruto replied with a jovial tone as he caught her hand and looked at her eyes. The atmosphere had lost its gloomy touch since Naruto appeared with his bright aura. It had started affecting Rogue and she was swept with the flow as the aura healed the pain in her soul, and brought some closure as she felt that he understood. She nodded to his words and Naruto stopped blocking. It was careless action and Naruto quickly stopped it. Rogue was overwhelmed by the energy she absorbed and the link that formed between her and Naruto. She could feel the overwhelming love that he held within his heart for the world. The darkness that was lurking deep within, and it started affecting her mindset as she saw his memories. Love, I want to be loved. Rogue felt her heart tighten as she felt Naruto's effect on her personality, and her power was going haywire. The chakra she absorbed would have destroyed the peer, if not for Naruto's intervention. Naruto quickly caught her and erased the memories that were his along with the emotions that didn't belong to Rogue. He understood a bit more about her power, and could tell it would be too dangerous if she absorbed someone with very strong emotions or will at this stage of her power. Are you okay now? Naruto asked in a gentle tone. He was worried he might have hurt her too much. Huff, Rogue breathed heavily as she felt her mind and heart calm down. Now that the problem was taken care of, she could feel the enormous power in her body. She felt invincible and capable of jumping into space. I am fine, Rogue muttered as she avoided talking about what she had just felt from those memories. It was also very awkward as she felt weird feelings for him now. Is his heart filled with rainbows and ponies? I am glad, and next time, we won't have this problem, so don't worry. But for now, how does it feel? Naruto helped her up and could sense she had absorbed enough chakra to be a Chunin within a second because his reserves were enormous. At the moment it would have been disastrous for Rogue if she had absorbed half his power, as she might have lost herself and become a clone of Naruto. I feel powerful, like I could fly and do anything I want, Rogue replied in a childlike tone as she was mesmerized by the power. That's good, and I am happy that you are feeling happy, but don't let it cloud you and always analyze where you stand factually, not depending on feelings, as it will lead to mistakes. Naruto warned as he understood the feeling. He had felt invincible when he had combined with Kurama, but then was trashed by Obito. Naruto's words pushed her out of the daze and she nodded. I understand. Good girl, let's relax now and eat something. We will continue later, Naruto said as he held her hand and flew along with her towards the city. The incident hadn't gone unnoticed as one bald man with a machine had caught onto Rogue's signal, Charles Xavier, a mutant that wants to help the poor children and give them place in this society. Charles was a very strong mutant with telepathic power, but unfortunate as he was unable to walk without assistance. Even then he never stopped and has made sure to work towards his goal tirelessly. Charles felt the strong signal and could feel that the target was danger to others and herself. He took off the helmet and turned to Jean Grey, his assistant and a powerful mutant. Professor, what did you find? Jean asked in a wary tone as she felt that Charles was sweating a bit here more than usual. A mutant with a powerful ability but no control. Jean, I need you to go with Kitty and Kurt, Charles said as he turned to Jean and stared, leaving the room. Anything I should be careful of. Don't let her touch you, Charles warned as that was the memory that stood out sharply to him. I will be careful, Jean replied calmly while hoping that it will be a nice person, as most mutants that she encountered had been hardened by the lives they lived. But the X-Men weren't the only ones interested, as the servants of Magneto were on the move. Rogue's foster mother, Irene Adler, had just contacted Mystique. Irene was confused as she had been unable to see this phenomenon clearly. She couldn't tell what actually happened but knew that Rogue had absorbed a lot of power, and it was time for Rogue to join her path as she was old enough. Raven, be careful. There is something strong on the loose. What is it? I can't see it, so be careful and don't be hasty, Irene warned as she was worried for her partner. I am always cautious, and did you see my death or something? No, but I am not sure since this force is affecting my ability. Okay, just relax and wait for good news, Raven replied and hung up, leaving Irene to put down the phone and walk to her seat. How is the taste? Naruto asked as he cooked some deer that he had stored in his seal. Hinata had wanted to cook for them, but he wanted to relax and let her enjoy his pampering. He had trained non-stop for too long and would have gone crazy if she wasn't present to keep his mind in focus. The chances of multiple personalities forming or him going insane had been high. It was the reason he hadn't allowed anyone else to use this method. If anyone was going to sacrifice himself, then he was enough. They couldn't afford to lose any fire power, so he had risked his very being to stand at the top. Naruto didn't show, but his mind was a field of insanity, and only his willpower and Kurama kept him in check or he would get broken. He had let clones exist for too long, and they had formed opinions that clashed. Slowly this started becoming a problem, as thousands of memories were being added to his mind. Even if they were one by one, it was too much when done for so long. He was glad that Kurama managed to keep him sane, or they might have to lock him until a battle needed his presence. That would be an interesting situation according to Naruto, but not a preferable one since he liked his mind in one piece. Moving on from the heavy topic about his insanity, the trio was in a forested area, under the night sky. The atmosphere was nice and the nature made him feel at home. Naruto had used his control of nature to make a wooden table and chairs, then started cooking using his home-world ingredients while giving some snacks and drinks to Rogue. He didn't hurry and moved at normal human speed to enjoy the experience, as he did for most things. He didn't need to eat, breathe or sleep, but he did all of these for enjoyment and force of habit. It made him feel human, and leaving these things would further separate him from his own people. They could survive without breathing until they had chakra, but he didn't even need air to survive, as he was pure energy being wrapped in human flesh by this point. The growth of power had led to this mutation, plus the absorption of Ishiki had sealed the deal. He had devoured an immortal being and become one himself, so he could say one of his titles was Immortal Slayer. He had gained a lot by absorbing Ishiki, especially the eyes called the Dharma Chakra, the 8-spoke Dharma wheel. It's nice. I think it might be the best I have ever tasted, Rogue replied as she ate fruits and crackers while sipping on some juice that she couldn't identify by look or smell. I expected some freaky alien cuisine. Haha, that's some weird image you have there. I don't think any human-looking species eats such stuff. Naruto chuckled as he saw the image of worms and other weird stuff that Rogue must have gotten from movies. Though I did eat worms, I am never sharing that with anyone. A bad memory indeed. Can you please try not to peek? I very much like my privacy, and now you already know me, Rogue asked with a sigh as she looked at his back. She felt that he was powerful but a nice person from their short talk, but he had his flaws. He didn't seem to listen to people and like to interfere with others on a whim or because he actually liked to help. On the other hand, his partner was out of this world beauty that was just enchanting. Her eyes just took the breath out her, and almost made her change her sexuality. The woman was his wife and looked like a kind person coming from high birth, as it was just in her mannerisms. Her voice was charming and Rogue felt none of the judgmental tone in it. The duo was a couple with opposite personality features, she could tell from one glance, but their love was genuine. This was the first time she had actually seen such a couple and not the horny teenage types. Dear, you shouldn't intrude on her mind, Hinata also reminded him, since it had been a habit to judge people. It was one of his many abilities learned from others to become the perfect fighter and king, learned from the Yamanaka clan. Sorry, turning off the mind reader now. You will love this and it's great for your health. No mortal has ever tasted this dish ever, so I will have to help to digest it as it contains a lot of energy, Naruto said in an excited tone as he brought the dish and placed it in the center while giving a kiss to Hinata's cheeks and sitting down. The smell was so enticing that Rogue felt the desire to gobble it all up. Her mouth was literally watering at the sight and smell. Her eyes couldn't look away and she was about to jump in when Naruto interfered. Naruto was really happy seeing the reaction as she acknowledged his skills, so he cut away the effect and reinforced Rogue with his own power so she could handle eating the stuff. It was not something normal, and it roamed in space in herds, a creature of the great unknown. It was large as the tallest mountain and more powerful than the Bija physically, except that it didn't have much energy compared to them and was being of physical might. Rogue was embarrassed at her conduct but mystified as she was having such magical experiences in a single day. Maybe shit will hit the fan today or something, because a day cannot be so good. We have some guests here that want to meet you, Rogue, Naruto said with an amused smile, causing her to tense up and look around. What do they want? Good evening and apologies for the intrusion. We are here to meet you, Anna, and help you. We are same as you, mutants. A woman with red hair wearing tight-fit black clothing with a red X on it walked into sight. Rogue eyed the woman and her companions, especially the alien-looking one as he stood out. She then looked towards Naruto, who smiled at her. It is your choice. And these kids aren't bad. But the one hiding in the shadows is closer to you but also not suitable. His words alarmed Jean and she sensed for anyone around her. She had been careless as her attention had been taken by the man sitting with the new mutant. He was powerful, and she could feel that she was prey in front of a giant beast. Raven wanted to curse. Everything she had planned was moot point at this juncture. She was intending to impersonate the X-Men and invite hate towards them, but Rogue ended up sitting with that man. I am coming out, Raven announced as she walked into the clearing and stood few feet away from Naruto and Jean. Auntie Rogue called out in shock as it was someone she hadn't expected to see here. Anna, I am happy that you are okay. I was worried when I felt that you had absorbed someone's power, Raven muttered in a soothing tone, showing care. It was partly genuine as she had taken care of Rogue for a long time and mostly manipulation. I am okay, but why are you here? I am working for a mutant organization, so I wish for you to join us, Raven replied without informing everyone her rank, nor did she resort to name-calling the other team. We are from the Xavier Institute for Gifted Youngsters, where you will find people similar to you and learn to control your powers safely. Jean pitched in to speak up for her team as she realized they were on the weaker front. Rogue looked from one to the other but couldn't really tell whom to join. If she went with her feelings, then her aunt was the safe bet, as the other woman was a stranger. Why are you not working together? What's the difference between you two? Rogue asked as she needed more information to make her choice, as the offer was enticing as she desired to be among those who will accept her completely. Jean walked closer and spoke up. We strive to help our kind, but we also help humans. We do not consider ourselves to be above humans, and see them as inferior. Our aim is to help the needy and live in coexistence with the humans. You can come and have a look. It is a school and not a prison. The choice to leave will always be there. Rogue heard her words and looked at Raven. From what she understood, her aunt's group was one of those types. There is nothing wrong in thinking we are a superior species. The time for humanity to stay at the top has come to an end, and it is our time to prosper. We do not act without being attacked by these humans. There is no gain in pointless conflict, but they hate us and fear us. Joining them would lead you to risking your life for those whom would kill you if they had the chance. Our group may be supremacists, but it is safer than theirs, and we do not intend to cause havoc unless it is for survival and self-defense. Both groups have their problems and dangers, so don't think one is safer. The X-Men have been attacked before and lost children, while the other group has also lost members while doing questionable things. The X-Men are much more inclined towards the good, while your aunt not so much, but don't hate her for that, as humans shaped her to be like this. Now you should choose or delay, since it is getting late. Naruto joined in to help her have a better picture. Jean and Raven looked towards him in surprise, wondering how he knew such details. Charles isn't the only one who can read minds, Jean. Jean realized that they had failed to take such possibilities into account. We will need to rectify this problem soon, or we might have problems on hand. Can I stay with you? Rogue turned to Naruto and asked, as she didn't really feel safe anymore about those choices, while this couple had shown kindness without expecting anything. They were powerful and showed capability to show her the way. Okay, but it will be good to go study with other mutants, so you will be learning with the X-Men, and coming back home to my place before evening. Naruto replied nonchalantly, as Hinata also agreed to his thoughts, since it wasn't a problem to help her out while they were here, and she might join them if she desires, as Naruto could see potential for greatness. Rogue had expected him to refuse, as it was kind of a big request, and hearing his answer put a big smile on her face for a moment before she went back to the neutral expression. Thank you? No problem. It helps having some company from this generation, Naruto muttered as he stood up, which caused them to tense up. You can leave now, as she has chosen her place. Know that I do not have any animosity with you, but I do not accept wrongdoing, so it will be better for you to stop such a destructive path. I will help you and can help you. If it is something that does not harm others, I know you have gone through things much worse than I have, but I can understand what you feel. Which is why you are still standing. I will give you all an option. Consider leaving this world. I can send you to another world. Though it has 10 times the gravity of this world, so you will have to work on that, or I end up erasing you for breaking my rules. Naruto spoke slowly and confidently. It was a viable choice, but not one they would consider, as mutants will continue to be born, while his warning sent chills down their spines, showing that they weren't talking with one of those casual powerful beings, but someone who took part in the lives of other beings. We will think about it, and thank you for taking care of my child, Raven replied as she walked away. Should I or should I not tell her that her son is standing there? Raven walked away, cautiously disappearing into the city, constantly changing forms to lose anyone that might have followed. She entered a hotel room and closed the door behind her as she controlled the annoyance. It was frustrating. Such a failure. How can I fix this? Raven thought as she sat down on the sofa. Rogue was a talent and a powerful mutant that had many uses. Even with her limited experience, she could have taken out a lot of X-Men easily. I like how you are so cautious, Raven, but I hope you don't trouble us. I really don't like hurting people, and I can easily give you a place to live safely. Raven jumped back in shock and took out her gun, and shot Naruto in one single motion. The bullets were erased before they even touched Naruto, as he wasn't the type to let things hit him, even when they did nothing. Relax. I am not here to end you, but to inform you of something important. Naruto indicated with his hand for her to sit down. Raven stared at him and resisted her urge to bolt, as she could tell it was futile to run. His words did disarm her, but she could tell he meant that he disliked it but would kill if forced. I am listening, Raven muttered as she slumped into the sofa. She was tired mentally from all this nonsense. Well, you can think about working for me later after you have discussed with Magneto, so take this card. You can contact me through it. As for the important info, it is about your son with Azazel. He is alive and was the kid with Jean that had blue skin, Naruto said as he threw a card at her, and then showed her an hologram of Kurt so she understood clearly, as she would have been in a state of combat at the scene. Raven looked at Kurt as she remembered her short love life with the Count that she killed and the affairs she had with Azazel along with many other men to conceive a child. She had lived long and wanted to feel like a mother. a mother of a strong mutant. She had been weakened during childbirth and humans had tried to hunt them both. Raven remembered dumping her child down the river inside a basket as she was weak and wouldn't have been able to protect him. She passed out after that and didn't remember the details as she had spent time searching for her child and only to result in nothing. Naruto stared at her, looking deep within. He was disgusted by her acts for betrayal which caused him to recoil, but he held it in. Kill the harlot, kill this scum and cleanse the world of her kind. Naruto held his head and his eyes were glowing gold. Naruto, focus on my voice and close of your abilities. Kurama's warning rang inside as he had gone too deep and activated his judgment mode, and he had judged her evil. So many deaths lay at her feet. So many betrayals in her past can no justify it as she had already lived for a long time. He saw Raven hold her hand to her heart and cry tears of joy. This wouldn't have happened normally, but Naruto's presence affected others to be positive and take him as a friend. Seeing the scene, his mind calmed down and the thoughts were forgotten. He would kill, but he was willing to give second chances to people that had a heart and were willing to change for the better. So you do have some maternal love. Raven wiped her tears and looked at him. She didn't know what he wanted, but if he had shown her this, then there must be more. Will you let us meet? Don't you think it would be better if you met when you have become someone respectable? Do you think he will listen to you or accept you now? He has grown up and matured through a harsh environment, so don't think he will be easy, Naruto explained so that she would consider her position and not try to convince to join them. Raven looked ahead. She could tell if she said now then he will take her there, but she already could guess how it would go. Not so family-oriented reunion. Thank you. I hope you can grant me this request at a later date. No problem. I don't like it when children are separated from their parents in such a manner. Do remember, change or receive an end that is worse than death. Naruto stood up and closed the distance between them, and flicked her forehead. See you again, Raven, Naruto muttered as he vanished. Raven looked at the spot where he had been and analyzed what had transpired today. Today was a total mind fuck. He looks really dangerous and has too many unknown powers. Can we even control him, or tone down his nosiness, or should we consider his help? Raven mused into the night as these questions would decide their paths. In the forest, the real Naruto was standing beside Rogue as they talked to the X-Men. Hope you are okay with this arrangement, Naruto asked Jean. We don't mind, it is her choice and being with you is safe for her. But do you know the way? Yes. Oh, Jean realized that he was just reading them again. Will I need to be there for the registration, or do I send her in the morning alone? Naruto asked for clarification. She can come alone. Good. Before we take our leave, I have something to talk to you about. Naruto walked forward indicating for her to follow while the rest for the gang stayed back. Jean was curious about what he needed as it seemed important, and this time she felt the surrounding change a little bit. A barrier. This has to do with you, so I don't want anyone to hear, Naruto clarified. About me? Jean was starting to feel nervous now. What was he about to share that he had to share to it so secretly? Relax. It isn't something bad, but if left unattended it could get harmful. Your powers are stronger than you expect, and the reason it is weak now is because of a seal inside your mind. I think it might be because of a trauma, and Charles is helping you take it slow, but now you are older and have understanding, so if you want to awaken it, I will help you out. Your mentor is cautious, and sometimes being very cautious is not a good thing. In this kind of life, there are times when you need to take risks. You understand, don't you? Jean understood what he meant, as she was living a dangerous life where power was a requirement, but she never expected such a thing. What kind of trauma? How powerful is my original level? I will speak with Charles and get back to you. Thank you for informing me. I really appreciate it. Jean replied in a grateful tone, and the duo walked back where Team Naruto bid them farewell before teleporting to the home his clone had purchased. Jean was an Omega-level mutant, but her powers had been restricted by Charles in her childhood days. She didn't remember this detail, and had become weak compared to what she should have been. Her growing power was a threat to everyone around her if she didn't control it. Naruto allowed Rogue to go to her adopted mother's house for the night, assuring her of the safety while he sat in the house with Hinata. Naruto sat in the study as he stared through the window at the starless sky. Was there something special about Jean? Yes, I felt her power was good enough to contend with Tonari when he first appeared. Maybe she has a great destiny awaiting her in the near future, Naruto commented as he took the hot choco that Hinata put on the table. Naruto commented such as people with great power always ended up in such situations. He had yet to see an exception, and Jean had that kind of personality, so it was inevitable. On the other hand, Hinata was surprised as Tonari had the power to destroy the planet with his newly awakened powers, meaning Jean could replicate his moon-crushing the Earth plan. This world has been surprising since the first moment. I am wondering how much more can we expect and if that is good for us or not. Hinata spoke thoughtfully as she was unsure how to take this day's findings. They could be taken positively and negatively. Let's not worry about things we do not know and take care of what we know, partner. How's my mind now? Naruto sipped his tasty treat and turned to the fluffy golden fox that appeared on his shoulder. It was the right size to be called the most adorable thing ever. I should smack you with my tails for that stupidity. I warned you yesterday not to make clones, but what did you do? Make a bloody clone. Kurama grumbled as he hit Naruto with his tails, almost making him drop the cup. Dude, I am drinking here. Okay, I am sorry, it was just a force of habit. I had made the clone before I realized it. You know how I don't even need signs anymore. Thoughts are harder to control, you know. Naruto said honestly as he looked at Kurama's serious look and Hinata's shining gaze. She was not happy with his words. Holding her hand, he tried to calm her down. You need to put the clone jutsu into the restricted list, or you will end up going insane sooner or later. It has been useful, but now you don't need it anymore, so restrict it since you can't control yourself, Kurama suggested as he didn't want his brother-like figure to become insane on his watch. They had worked together and fought together. Now they were joined together by souls. There was no bond more precious than this to Kurama, and he will never allow any harm to him. Not even Naruto was allowed this privilege. Brother is right, dear, please. Hinata also pleaded, even though this jutsu was a major part of his fighting styles, but his health was much more important. He wouldn't become weaker by giving it up, and it would only introduce some limitations, making him do everything personally. They had come with the intention to take part in a dangerous battle where death was heavily implied, but this jutsu might even accelerate the process. She might lose her lover to madness before even death took him, and it crushed her heart. Every day she had to watch him fight against this problem for years, and now he was closer to the breaking point. This task was a blessing in some way, as he had finally put the training down since everything that needed to be done was done. Looking at her eyes that cried for him, the heart that felt pain for him, and the love that overwhelmed him and resonated with his own heart, Naruto felt guilty and happy. Taking her into his embrace, he breathed in her presence, and felt life burn within him. I have aired my love, and for you, I shall lock it away, for these tears do not suit your beautiful face. Smile for me and never let sadness mar your face. Naruto spoke gently as he cleared away the tears and kissed her forehead and eyelids. Kurama rolled his eyes at Naruto, forgetting his existence when he got into that lover mode, but he also felt happy for them. It was already sad that he had to postpone his dream of having a family, so he wished nothing worse would happen. This might be dangerous, but Kurama hoped they came out of it alive. Even if they were crippled. Disappearing like a wraith, Kurama went back to his living space inside Naruto's soul, where a world existed just for him. In this beautiful world filled with hope and love representing Naruto, there were parts that were marred with darkness, and the sky was fractured with cracks everywhere. It signified the damage done to his psyche through the continuous use of the shadow clone technique on such a large scale. Kurama sensed that Naruto had put a seal on his shadow clone technique, so they would have to remind him when the time was right, since Naruto forgot as his memory was sealed. If they fought carefully, then Naruto might be healed completely, and use it without any danger in the final fight. The problem was prolonged use, so during fights it wouldn't be a problem after a year, as the damage was too much now. Kurama looked at the scene and relaxed as he released his power to cover up the cracks. His form towered everything, making mountains look tiny in comparison. Naruto wasn't the only one who had grown, as Kurama had joined with his other half and mixed with parts of all the tailed beasts before devouring the Jubi under Ishiki. Minato had made him half his power, and it had taken him 12 years to heal his body back to full power. Joining with the other Kurama had made him double in power, making him stronger than ever, and joining other parts gave him even more, plus a list of skills. Kurama naturally became stronger than the Jubi just like that, and then he devoured the wild Jubi under Ishiki after giving it food. Devouring it, Kurama doubled its power once again, and the power-up this time was ever more insane as the skills available to him were even more powerful. But that wasn't the end, as Naruto was growing at an insane rate, especially since he had devoured Ishiki, so the difference in power stayed the same. Kurama remained just the energy source for Naruto, so he embraced this duty and grew even more by devouring the energy from the sun. It was hard to grow his limits as the energy kept disappearing, but hard work came useful. He became even bigger while his special skills became even more potent. Now his size was insane. He was 10% of the size of the moon, and he could grow instantly to the size of the earth and gobble up the moon. Brother, I will never any darkness affect your light. Kurama once again repeated his oath as his power covered up the world to heal the damage while Hinata healed Naruto with her love. Rogue walked into her house, which seemed to feel so foreign now. She felt conflicted. Leaving a loved one was not easy even though it was logical. Anna, Mother Rogue answered as she looked towards Irene, a middle-aged woman with short brown hair wearing a green shirt with blue jeans and black shades to cover the white eyes. Come, let us talk over tea. We have lot to cover, Irene muttered in a gentle tone. To her, Anna was her little girl, even though she trained Anna for the Brotherhood of mutants. It didn't mean she held no feelings. She loved Anna and Raven, her partner through decades, and was worried about the future that she had seen, a future filled with death and danger to her loved ones. Rogue nodded and followed Irene to the kitchen, where they took their seats. Irene poured her cup of hot tea and sat down. I'm sorry that I hid so many secrets from you, but know that I think of you as my daughter. Rogue looked at the cup in her hand. Why do you support them when they are a danger to themselves and others? It is not something easy to explain. You know, my life had been dynamic in the past. I wasn't always like this, and it is what led to my choices. I have suffered under the hands of humans, and I can see a future where the anti-mutant organizations hunt us down like wild animals, Irene explained. Rogue looked at her and could feel that it was the truth. I can tell when a person is lying. It must be Naruto's power, and Mother can see glimpses of the future. I trust your words, but I would like to experience things through the neutral lenses as I have never been part of this world. No problem, but do you trust this man so much? Haven't you just met him? I hope it is not because you were charmed by him. No, no way, Rogue quickly denied the accusation. I just feel safe around him. He is a good person, and even though he is insensitive, he understands me completely. He has gone through worse, and I absorbed his powers, so I need his help to control them, as it is really hard to adjust to them now. I feel like everything is too fragile and I will break them, if I am not careful. Rogue answered calmly and with a peaceful smile, showing that she was quite comfortable with him as he brought her out of her shell. I see, then it is good. I hope you are happy with this choice. I will support whatever you choose, and remember to come back here when you have time and give me a call every day, Irene replied as she stood up and hugged Rogue from the back. I will, Rogue said with a happy smile. Jean walked towards Charles' study and knocked on the door. Come in. Jean entered and found the professor reading like always. He turned towards her and asked while showing only calmness, even though he knew that she failed. How was it? I failed. An alien being interfered, Jean answered as she stood in front of him. He must not have been an enemy, if you are here without a scratch, but why did he interfere? He seemed like a nice guy and just wanted to help the young girl. He had met her before we arrived, so seemed to have made a connection. The girl chose him over us, but he told her to attend the school so we can see her tomorrow, Jean explained while giving an unbiased answer, as she had been annoyed by Naruto's antics. Oh, so it is fine, but the man will appear tomorrow as well. What is his danger level? I don't think I even stand a chance against him. If he was an enemy, we will be dead. He was nonchalant in his actions, and I felt death breath down my neck when he said to be good. He was serious in his warning to erase us, if we break his rules. Jean shivered from the memory, as it was her first time being within the range of such thick bloodlust. I see that would be really difficult to handle, but he is an outsider with such great power, then the Sorcerer Supreme must have met him already. We shouldn't have much problem, so we will welcome them tomorrow, Charles replied with a smile. He could have shared with the Avengers, but he really didn't trust them much as they stood with humans too closely, and ignored their crimes. Jean nodded but didn't intend to leave as she looked at him with a serious gaze. Charles, is there something wrong with my power? Why would you ask that? He told me that. I have a seal within me. Was he lying, or is there something? Charles stopped for a moment as he remembered the day he met Jean. It was a horrifying experience. She had been hurt, vast amount of thoughts and emotions around her. It led to a violent reaction and the place exploded. Her parents died instantly along with many other families of the neighborhood. It was only because of Charles and Magneto's joint effort could they keep her calm and save the people. She had been hurt by the emotions and pain felt by others, and this violence led to even worse pain as she felt everything they had felt. Charles managed to help her by convincing her to lock the power with his help, and he had slowly tried to teach her control so one day it could be unlocked even though a painful memory lay behind the gate. It is the truth. You are old enough to know. I sealed your powers when we met as they were going out of control and mistakes were made. I am not sure if you are ready, but I will respect your choice and help you to the best of my abilities, Charles explained. He said he can help me. Can you talk to him? Did he? Then of course I will do my best to get help for you, my child, Charles replied in a happy tone. Thanks for being honest, Charles, and good night. Be sure to get some sleep. I know you stay awake, so please for us, sleep. I will. Charles smiled and felt really touched at the care shown by his oldest student. In space, an orbital space station moved around while unknown to the populace below except the supernatural kind. It was known as Asteroid M, the home base of the master of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Magneto sat in his throne as he heard the report about the incident, and was not pleased. He did not like variable, nor did he like to be controlled. An outsider with unknown power, truly a nuisance. Will he interfere with my plans? Most likely from his words, and it seems death will be the result, Magneto thought as he had planned to take over the nuclear powers and set them on the humans. That will be inconvenient, but is he actually strong enough? Magneto thought, but there was nothing to go by. Let us observe and test him out, Magneto muttered as he thought of Charles's brother, Juggernaut. Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, watched over her savior as he seemed to be concocting some evil plans. She was grateful but didn't really want him to do evil and wasn't part of the evil mutants yet. I wish he would just stop antagonizing the humans and live peacefully. We could live up here and nothing would disturb us, Wanda mused as she walked away to find her brother. A new day and a start. Naruto stood up from the bed and refreshed as Hinata's delicious form was stuck to him that his desire rose instantly once again. If it wasn't for the seriousness of the situation, Naruto felt like he might not even leave the bed like his honeymoon week. He would never get tired of this body. Naruto's eyes flashed golden from his energy leaking as he was filled with a burning desire. Last night he had gone for so long that Hinata was still sleeping, unlike her usual self that would have woken up before him. He had extended the time with his limited time control abilities and made it so that time was slowed in their room, meaning days had passed for them. It didn't affect them since both of them were effectively immortal and could never age anymore. Admiring his curvaceous form that was open to his appreciation without any covering, Naruto placed his hand on her abdomen and gave her small kisses as his hands slipped to her thighs and ass. With this undisguised desire showered on her, Hinata opened her eyes with a happy smile and allowed him the freedom to continue. With that, it became a two-way battle that went on for 2 hours plus 1 more hours in the bath. Finishing up his love treat, Naruto let Hinata rest and check out the area while he went to the mutants. He walked through a portal to not surprise his hosts, and took Rogue from her old home towards the mutant college. Naruto walked out of the portal along with Rogue and appeared in the playground. Naruto's presence was hidden like always, but he didn't conceal Rogue so they would know. Good morning, Rogue, Naruto greeted with a smile. Rogue turned to Naruto and found him wearing the same outfit last time, but she wasn't to judge as she didn't change either, and had many of the same outfits. He seemed a bit more cheerful is what she felt from his expression. Rogue knew very well that he was a hard person to read since he didn't show his emotions, but the slight connection told her so. He must have had some. That was the first thing that came to mind, and she felt ashamed. Good morning to you as well. I hope you had good dreams. Haha, you are a precious child, aren't you? I didn't think you would ask, but yes, I had good dreams. Naruto chuckled as he slapped her back in a friendly manner. He did have good dreams. Very good dreams that he stayed awake all night. I am 21, you know, and you hardly seem older, Rogue said as she found it really annoying to be treated like a child, especially by someone close to her in age. I may be 27 physically, but through a skill I have lived like thousands of years mentally, plus you know my life has always been dynamic, making me grow faster. Am I wrong, or do you think we are similar at similar stages of maturity? Naruto replied with a teasing smile as his eyes moved away from Rogue to Charles, then to the vessel of power, Jean. Welcome to my humble abode and institution. My name is Charles Xavier, and I assume you are Rogue and Naruto, Charles said in a welcoming tone. Rogue turned around and looked at the new arrival cautiously. She knew from Naruto's words that this person could read her mind. He looked to be harmless and kind, but she never trusted those until proven. It is nice to meet you as well, Charles. Nice place you got here, though I assume it would have been much better to just mind control people in power and find an island to live on for the mutants. Would have been a much better option than this. The place isn't really protected much and is open to land and aerial assault, Naruto commented as he observed the place and Charles. This was a habit as he had been a military leader for so long that he always thought of such things when deciding a place for real. I could do that, but it would make me the enemy that humans fear, and while the suggestion is logical, I cannot remove these children from their families. They are humans in the end, with feelings and desires. Building an island and only living with mutants will be really hard as there aren't many, and many things would have to be sacrificed that these children do not possess qualities for. Right, but sometimes it is better to push through for safety, or do you believe some enjoyment is better than their lives? Naruto nodded and replied as he looked at him directly. Why do push through with this angle? I want to know what you think and I want her to hear what you have to say. So Charles, there is danger out there but you choose to stay here. What have you done to protect them? Danger is there for everyone, even the humans, so do you want them to hide away somewhere? I do not wish for these children to be cowards or to hide like they are a plague. They deserve to live normally and we will not hide away but fight for those rights, like those before us. Plus we train them all to protect themselves and I do not hold back on anyone trying to harm my children. The X-Men exist to protect the mutants and humans, so it is one step taken for protection, Jean added. She didn't mind that Naruto was questioning Charles as he liked to be questioned and she wanted to listen. I like your answer. I dislike cowards but always take the logical step and do not be taken by the feelings involved. Unlike the humans, you can always hide away, so do think of it once things become too dangerous. Always have contingencies, so scout a place and prepare it for emergencies or in difficult situations everything will go down in flames. I will think it over with my team. Jean, show Rogue around the place. Jean nodded and indicated for Rogue to follow. Rogue had listened carefully since it was for her sake, and she kind of agreed with Charles as she wouldn't like to be completely lost from civilization, but Naruto wasn't wrong and she knew danger was out there but some things were worth fighting. Can I fight for my rights and freedom? So you want to know if I can help Jean? Naruto muttered as he saw the girls walk away. His gaze was nonchalant like always, and though Jean was wearing such tight-fitting clothes, Naruto's eyes barely looked at her except for her inner being. Yes, we would appreciate it, but you do not completely believe me. A good choice as I haven't really done anything worth it. Inside Jean there is a lock on power, and then there is the large amount of power untapped that is not good for the world. If Jean can't control it, it would be bad if the seal broke in a serious situation, and she ended up killing everyone. I can help her as my powers are above her level and keep everything under control, Naruto replied as they moved slowly towards the building while curious children watched Naruto. I cannot really tell if that was a lie or the truth, so it will be better to decide after we know each other for some time, Charles said while his mind went through many thoughts. It really was difficult when you couldn't read a person and have such bait to bite. He knew the danger that Jean, and according to his expectation that power must be insane at the moment. She was an Omega-level mutant, meaning someone with the ability to affect the world, and Naruto was saying that it was nothing to him. How strong is he? Why is he helping us? Is it really kindness or something sinister? Charles was used to living a harsh life and had seen so much that it was hard to trust people without reading their minds. It was wrong, but he had responsibility towards these kids. Death could take him, but they needed to be safe. I understand. Let's get to know each other better, Naruto replied with a smile as he looked at Kurt watching him from some distance. How do you feel about this? Jean inquired as she led Rogue around the building while the mutants watched the new girl. I don't know. This is all new, but it won't really change the fact that I can't touch people, so I guess it will end up the same, Rogue replied as she looked at the rooms and the people she passed by with strange abilities. Jean didn't push though, as she could tell Rogue was pessimistic and only results would convince her of the difference. I won't say that all will be fine, but the kids here won't judge you for your power as it is an inborn gift. Thanks. I will try not to be so antisocial, but don't expect me to be a social butterfly, Rogue muttered with a small smile. She could see a slight difference from the people as she could sense their emotions. They were curious and not judgmental in the wrong manner like the humans had been. They are used to discrimination, so I guess they wouldn't want to be like their tormentors. If you don't mind me asking, how did you meet him? He just appeared and then I met you guys. Do you trust him? I do. He has no use for me. Why would you think that? It is personal. What kind of mutation is that? Rogue remained silent as it involved Naruto's memories that she had seen but now didn't possess. It had allowed her understanding into his nature, so she wasn't worried that he wanted her for something other than company. I can't say, you will have to ask him personally. Kurt, the new recruit wants to talk to you, Jean called out to the blue team that had teleported away after Naruto had looked at him. It had made him uncomfortable. Those eyes seemed to see through him. Not many of your kind here. Do you want me to round them up for you? Naruto muttered as he sat down on the sofa in the office like it was his home. Charles didn't take offense as he was used to strange people and Wolverine always acted like that even when he respected Charles. Charles ignored that comment as he could see that it was bait. He is certainly not a bad person and his manners show that he is someone of importance, but he continues to act friendly though some of his other side slips through. He must be a leader of some sorts or someone in an important position. People have called me many things, Charles: monster, demon, abomination, hero, savior, chosen one, Lord Seventh and finally the immortal king. What do you want to call me? Naruto said with a smile as he looked at him with a playful look as he sat on the sofa. Charles was kind of taken aback as he had never been read by others, this openly and with no resistance. Plus, all these titles painted a picture of a harsh history, not something expected from a face filled with smiles. The titles became better as time went on. Is it on purpose or are they actually in random order? In order, people used to call me such bad names because of my birth, but even now some people call me those names inside their heart. I am their king that brought them to the golden age, but humans can never be satisfied and there always be someone that dislikes you, so I still have some people that have problem with me. Charles agreed with his opinion and looked at him as his words had become serious and calm, lacking the playful tone. Why? Naruto smiled. I wonder why. Charles understood as he remembered Jean's words. He had killed their loved ones, so the survivors cursed him. Thank you for your honesty. What do you think of our school? Personally, I still hate school, but as a leader I think it is a good place as there isn't really any other professional alternative. Just that it would be better if you just took over the mind of the human leader or moved it to far-off land. I can easily do that for you and you could keep someone here to lead them to the island and search for your kind. I will keep that in mind. Any other feedback? Charles took his words seriously even though he was annoyed at the first option again, but the second had been modified this time. I will help you guys teach the children when I have time. My eyes can see through people's potential so I can push them to the limits of their power safely. Plus I have provided you with a barrier that will keep anyone with harmful intentions away. I would have programmed it to kill, but I don't think you will like dead bodies outside the property or on your conscience. I am genuinely grateful for this assistance you have provided, Naruto. Charles spoke, holding back his urge to speak out against his violent and murderous ways. No problem. I like to help, but know that I don't like to cuddle, so warn them. They will become strong and go through some major pain or they should not walk to my class, Naruto said in a serious tone as he smiled with his eyes flashing golden. Our children are not cowards and they will be given the choice, so let us meet some potential candidates. Charles could see that Naruto was serious and very much dangerous, but Wolverine hadn't been easy either. The duo moved to the training area in the basement area, where Scott was sparring with Wolverine while Kitty and Bobby observed. Too slow, too linear, Wolverine muttered as his claws were about to touch Cyclops' neck. Scott wanted to retaliate as his frustration from losing was building up but stopped as he spotted Charles. Charles, what brought you here? Who's the blonde? Wolverine stepped away and looked at the duo. He is a new friend and new teacher for our students. Naruto Uzumaki at your service, known as the Immortal King. I have decided to help you out in my free time, especially since I see some potential in you guys, Naruto said as he looked at the people in the field. Charles? Scott looked towards his teacher to confirm his claims since they sounded very outlandish. Just as he said, he is from another world and is an immortal being with great power. He has assured me that teaching different kinds of mutants isn't out of his league and he wishes to help us seeing our difficulties. He may look young, but keep in mind that he is your elder, Charles answered truthfully according to his opinion formed through the short talk between them. Naruto wasn't about to show him the story of his life but did slip in some of his skills and abilities when he talked about things. I won't say I am the best teacher in the world or anything, but I am better than any person you can expect. I am a true master of the fighting arts, developed through continuous battles every day for many years in all kinds of terrain against variety of foes. Unlike you, I possess many skills, and even I don't possess it, I can most likely help you with it. I can help you guys out, but I will focus more on people that wish to achieve an ultimate state. My training is harsh, but it is a guaranteed success with 0 casualties or damage. I can see that you have difficulty wrapping your mind around this topic, so how about all of you fight me? It should show you my skills. Don't worry, I will go easy on you, Naruto explained in a gentle manner, moving around them, taking in their features while giving of a friendly vibe. Are you serious? Do you think we are a joke? Logan growled as he looked at the man that looked strong in a human manner, but nothing special. He was a long-lived person himself that had passed centuries on this planet because of his regeneration ability. Throughout the years he had faced monsters of all kinds, those that could rip apart humans, those that could rip apart buildings, those that could rip apart cities, and those that could shatter the country itself. He had fought them and come out alive every time. His skill and survival ability was one of the best in this world. Just because he looked like a wild goon, people forgot that his battle experience was immense, and barely anyone could fight him if their stats were similar, especially because of his adamantium that allowed him to kill those above his pay grade. On the other side was Cyclops, a young man with peak human strength, but his mutant ability was the beams of pure energy released from his eyes. They varied in strength according to how much Cyclops focused, until now the strongest beam he released had caused wide gash across multiple city blocks. Then there was Kitty Pryde, also known as Shadow Cat. She was a young woman with the ability to go intangible and even make others intangible by touching them. She was one of the most dangerous people present, as she could drag someone below and make them tangible again, killing them. Finally there was Bobby, also known as Iceman. He had the ability to freeze everything around him and at a very large range. I don't make fun of anyone unless I intend to mess with your minds, Logan. I know everything about your abilities with just one look. None of you can actually fight me, as I can cancel out everything you posses. Try it out. There is nothing to lose, and if you win then I will leave. Naruto placed his arm around Cyclops and spoke calmly. Logan felt him release his aura and felt his actual presence for the first time. Bloody hell, the blonde bastard was playing with us. Logan had animalistic instincts telling him when he was facing danger or not, and before this he hadn't been sensing anything from Naruto, since Naruto didn't want people to sense him, so they could only utilize their normal senses. All of you, he is the real thing. Don't hold back and treat him like Magneto, Logan commanded as their teacher, even though Cyclops was the real leader of the team. Cyclops lacked in fighting experience, so Logan acted as the leader for the time being as they were getting into a battle. Outside of battle, Cyclops led the team as he had been trained to lead from the beginning and because of his intelligence. Is this his instinct again? Scott thought as he heard those words and felt the weight disappear from his shoulders as Naruto appeared far away from them. Charles was also teleported away from the center and watched over them with full focus. He was used to taking in the battles to improve on the skills of his team. His mind operated on a higher level so he could provide this support to the kids as he was unable to participate in battles. Okay, I am ready. Let's play, children. Naruto smiled as he clapped his hands and walked towards them at a slow pace. Cyclops didn't need to be told as he started the offense while Iceman froze the ground beneath Naruto. They intended to send him flying even if he had the strength to resist the beam, but Scott found himself slipping as ice appeared under him and a rock pillar rose, hitting him in the abdomen. Naruto appeared in front of him and caught him by the arm, spinning him around and sent him towards Iceman. Logan rushed towards him, but Naruto slipped through as skated on the ground and avoided Iceman's ice beams. Accelerating, Naruto kicked Bobby in the head and crashed him into the ground while Cyclops shot a beam at his back as he had landed safely. But once again it missed as Naruto slid to the side and moved towards him like he was skating while the ground around him rose and caught his legs. Naruto's arm rose and he punched forward, sending Logan that had appeared in his way flying into Cyclops. The ground under them changed into quicksand and they started sinking as they couldn't muster enough strength to get out. Bobby tried to help them but found himself frozen, while Kitty was the saddest among them as she had found herself stuck in the air from the beginning, but none of them had noticed because she had become invisible. How was it? Should we have another round? Naruto cancelled his powers and all of them looked towards him with respect. They weren't scared of him as they were battle-ready individuals, but this battle was one of the worst. Not even Magneto had been this bad, since even adding Jean and Colossus to this battle would have changed anything. You weren't kidding about playing with us. I need a drink. You freaks make living hard for us honest people, Logan muttered as he got up and took out a cigar as he felt stressed at being fodderized. Naruto hadn't harmed him, but being taken out of battle was a loss in a real battlefield. That hurt my fragile heart. How are you going to take responsibility? Naruto asked as he appeared beside Logan. Logan felt Naruto's hand catch his claw as the man squeezed. The fuck are you doing? Just testing something. This thing is definitely exceptional. Naruto muttered as his fingers were cut because of the force applied but got attached instantly. His hand that wouldn't get hurt even if the planet exploded was cut so easily. It showed him the power of this metal. Naruto wasn't his old self anymore, as his base form was the Otsutsuki body that he inherited from Ishiki. It had been trained to the extremes, so he never needed to power up, and according to Kagaya, he should have the power of a core member. But he wasn't an Otsutsuki, so he had 2 power-ups like usual. His Sage mode that allowed him to use the power of the world to make himself invincible, and Kurama. He was unsure if he could beat a prince, but Naruto was definitely on the level of an elder of the Otsutsuki clan. His physical form could shatter planets with a single punch or kick, and his strongest ninjutsu could erase the whole solar system, while his normal jutsu could destroy stars. But that was just his power, and just like old times, he didn't have a weapon that could adapt to his powers. His lack of weapon never bothered him, but it wasn't a good thing, as all situations should be covered. Don't touch it so carelessly. My claws can cut anything in this world. Is that so? Naruto smiled as his eyes stared deep into the structure of the metal so that he could recreate it. His eyes could see the smallest of particles, and with his creation of all things he could create anything he wanted if he knew its structure. Naruto stored the data inside his head and decided to make the metal ladder, as he wasn't interested in sharing his secrets with outsiders. Master, please teach me. Bobby held his leg as he had just been bloody frozen. He was the Iceman. How did anyone freeze him? Relax, I am going to teach all of you. I see great potential in you guys, Naruto said as he walked towards Cyclops. Scott didn't understand the meaning of the gaze, but he had already acknowledged the man, so he was willing to show some trust. Now, why haven't you fixed his eyes yet? Naruto said as he pulled Scott towards him. We do not have the ability or technology to fix his problem, Charles replied, but he was happy as Naruto seemed to be taking action to help Scott. Well, kid, you have a strong ability but no control, just like my old days. I will bring you control, but you will still have to overcome the mental block that weakens your power. You can use the beam to kill people. If you can't do that, then just blast of their limbs. They can survive with that, Naruto advised as he touched Scott's face while the young man floated in front of him. Scott was enveloped in golden chakra as he felt all his injuries heal and the warmth spread through the body. The comfort was too seductive, and he wanted to just sleep but ended abruptly, and he was brought back to reality. How do you feel now? Feel like testing your limit? You can do it. Push to the limits. This body of mine, take it. No matter how hard, how long it is, Naruto whispered into his ears as Scott on the grounding trying to catch his breath. Could you stop talking like that? Scott complained as that double speak was really repulsive. What are you thinking, kid? Charles, this kid is a perv, taking things out of context so easily. Naruto turned to Charles and then back to Scott. I will stand here and you will hit me with all you got. Okay, Naruto commanded as he pushed back Scott few feet away. Scott stood up and looked towards Charles. He was used to this exercise with Wolverine, so he didn't think it would change anything. Take off the visor, Naruto muttered, and Scott unconsciously removed it and shot a concentrated beam at Naruto. Not good enough, still holding back. Are you so scared even when I said I am immortal? Then don't mind if I do this. Scott felt his body move without his command and the beam becoming stronger and stronger. The burden on his mind was increasing and he could feel the headache form. It kept on growing darker and stronger for 3 minutes before Scott dropped unconscious. Thanks for not interfering. You see, he has great power at his disposal already, and with my help it can become ever stronger. The beam at its current best could have split the whole city in half or traveled fourth of the distance towards the center of the moon if he shot at it from close distance. His words surprised Wolverine as he had been taking them head on, and never took such damage, while it made Bobby proud of his role model. He will be fine, and now it is your turn, Ice Boy. Among these guys you are special, as your body is just a vessel that doesn't need to be in one piece. Look at me and see what you are capable of. Naruto explained by example as his body turned to energy and spread around them before he reformed. He had once again reminded them how unfair his existence was. They had only one ability while he was filled with them. But that didn't matter much as Bobby was excited beyond reason. This ability was so damn awesome and meant that he was impossible to kill. Are you serious? I can do this awesome skill. Of course, all of you should forget what humans are like. When none of you are like them, Bobby, trust me, I know you can do this. Your powers operate on a molecular level. Your body doesn't really matter much and can be reformed. I can tell if someone will die by bodily harm or other methods. And your body shows the sign of soul attack requirement, meaning, Damaging your body will not kill you, Naruto explained, and his hand glowed. He pointed at Bobby. Bobby saw his hand glowing and felt fear take over his body. He now knew the man was strong, and if he wanted, all of them would be dead from a single hit. Staring at his hand, Bobby felt his body shake. Do you trust me? If you do, then extend your hand towards me. I will destroy it and force your body to awaken. Danger is the best way to force the body to show its abilities. Logan didn't say anything, as he could see that Naruto could heal them if anything went wrong, and this was Bobby's choice. Looking at Logan and then towards Scott, who had just gained a power-up, Bobby felt that his usefulness had been lowered, gritting his teeth as he realized the only danger was some pain, since the man could heal him. I will do it. Bobby extended his hand and didn't even realize that it was gone. Within a blink of his eyes, the right had vanished, and he realized his power had activated automatically. Slowly it was reforming on his arm. Bobby was gobsmacked and shocked by his own abilities. Don't be surprised, this isn't anything. We will work on making your freezing ability potent. This temperature is disappointing. We need to at least hit and -100 and aim for absolute 0. With that, he had captured their interests and explained fighting style for Kitty. She had similar abilities like Obito, and his fighting style had utilized chains. Naruto gave her the option of chains or a spear or a sword so that she could fight from a distance and destroy the insides of the foes, since that was the weakest part of anyone. Showing her the 3 fighting styles, Kitty's eyes were shining as she finally had a way to fight. Her power was useful, but she barely contributed to any fight. Thank you for the help, Naruto. We look forward to your guidance, and we will always be available if you require any assistance, Charles said as he was more than satisfied. Naruto was the perfect instructor, as he had all the abilities these kids had, so his experience was personal. He showed them real-life examples and not some theory. No problem, I love helping out. Rogue and Jean were on the roof, looking down on the area and enjoying the scenery when Naruto appeared behind them. How is the place? It is good, the people seem nice. What did you think? Rogue replied as she looked at him and was surprised that he was carrying an adorable fox with him, which didn't suit his personality. It's okay and kind of fun. I am thinking of teaching here. So will I be training here or somewhere else? I will train you personally, but you can fight the kids here as well. It will be better for them, and you will actually make friends and learn how to operate with a team. You will learn how to fight like a well-oiled machine for situations when one-on-one isn't the logical option. Rogue nodded and noticed a golden fox on his head that was also looking at her. What are you looking at, human? Haven't you seen a fox before? So cute. Rogue screamed inside but kept her face neutral as it would go against her image. Hey bro, don't surprise others like that. Rogue, this is my immortal partner and brother. You can depend him when needed. His name is Kurama and he is the cutest thing ever. Naruto hugged him. Rogue blinked as she thought it was a dream, but it was reality. Even my dreams made more sense than this. She had never imagined Naruto to act like this, as he seemed so high class, and even though he was approachable, this was different. He is really lovable and must have attracted many people with these qualities. I never imagined a ruler to be so nice. Rogue smiled as she felt happy in his presence. It has only been a day since they knew each other, but the energy-absorbing incident had made them a lot closer, and if she had retained the memories, then she might have been the closest to him. Regardless of the loss, Rogue felt positive vibes towards him, and he had made his place as her first friend, the person she chose to believe. I will help you for the assistance you provided, Rogue muttered, which brought a chuckle from him. Do what you wish, but what will you help me with? Naruto put Kurama back on his head as the fox decided to take a nap and found her words really interesting. He could feel that she trusted him, but she probably hadn't realized what it meant when she said she would help him. You already know, so just like you said, I am here so you can always talk to me. I see. I will take my leave now, so see you later, girls. Naruto smiled and walked away, disappearing within steps. While talking to Rogue, Naruto was also conversing with Jean through telepathy. Hello Jean, I heard that you are fine with my meddling. I will work on your case later, but do you think you will be able to take it? Pain will be the least of your concerns. Thank you for giving us an option, and I will do it. I can guarantee the success, but it will not be painless. Your body isn't used to the power, so it would be very painful at the beginning. You will experience your head bursting and your nervous system breaking down. These are the things that might happen, but you will come out of it fine, and then we can finally start your training. I appreciate your concerns, but I don't think it will change my mind. And you want to train me? Why? Because you will need it, and I have some time. though there is also some personal reason, like you could end up helping me out, so I wish for you to have the strength to do it properly. Well, you aren't wrong about that. I would definitely extend a hand to help you since you are a friend. Thanks for the trust, and I hope you will keep the positive thoughts when I am training you. Jean heard his chuckle and saw him smile at them both before vanishing. That smile was really attractive. Hinata had been looking around the country while Naruto handled the mutants, and she took note of everything that was new. The data was placed in different categories, but she was mostly interested in the scientific research of the mortals and the special power users. From her observation, they had been proving their usefulness. During her mission, she didn't forget to help people in need, and the people only saw a violet beam wherever she helped. She didn't judge anyone unless they were in the middle of rape, and only made holes in their limbs. But her flight seemed to have caught someone's eyes as she found herself facing a powerful monster. It was a man with blonde hair, a powerfully built body of 190 centimeters height, blue eyes, and a yellow spandex with red cape. From the information she had gathered, he was called Sentry, and he was one of the strongest heroes on this planet. Hinata stopped her flight while covered in her Tensagen cloak of violet color that was barely showing up and looked like energy leaking from her body. "Who are you?" Sentry asked as he floated only few meters away from the unknown target. He could see that it was a beautiful woman that was light on the eyes, but her actions had been anything but light. She had just crippled some people beneath them, and he had been unable to stop the attack as it moved past the speed of light. It was nothing to him, but he couldn't move at such speeds within the city or it would get devastated. "Hinata Uzumaki, I believe you should know my husband. How can I help you?" Hinata asked calmly as her eyes with violet floral pattern looked at him without any fear or hesitation that most people would show when faced with the Sentry. "Naruto Uzumaki, you are his wife?" Sentry remembered hearing the report of a new being entering their world from Tony that had been received from Spider-Man, but it hadn't mentioned a wife. "Yes, we were planning on visiting your team later, so if you don't have anything urgent, then I would like to take my leave." Just hearing her charming voice, anybody would agree, but Sentry wasn't feeling it. "Why did you cripple them? They were criminals in the middle of the act. Or you want to leave people that were about to murder another without any consequence?" Hinata answered and asked calmly as she felt that her actions were justified. People learned quickly when fear was involved and punishment was swift and merciless. Sentry felt that their values were different, so she wasn't going to understand him. She wasn't wrong, but she could have easily just subdued them. People can change, and these people were now going to live difficult lives with one of their arms missing and the mark of the sinner on their heads. "You are an outsider. There are laws in this land, and you are not above them. It was the duty of the legal system to give out the punishment, not yours." "Disappointing." "What?" "I said you are disappointing, humph. A coward that can't take responsibility for the path he has chosen. Do you also ask your mother, dear, if you can play with other children?" Her tone was so noble, but her words were completely ridiculing him. "Are you going to stop, or?" "It is part of my noblesse oblige to extend a helping towards the innocent, so shall continue helping, but I will change my ways since I do not wish for any conflict between us. Know that. I have no respect for cowards." With those words, Hinata flew away from him, making him feel embarrassed and annoyed. She had acted haughtily and looked down on him completely without any consideration for his circumstances. These people are going to be trouble, and what is she doing? Sentry followed behind to make sure that she kept her promise but kept a distance. "Naruto, what will you do now?" "Look around. I want to see what the people have to offer. How about a challenge?" "You need to relax, and Hinata is on it, so you can take some time off, especially since you already located some potential candidates for the battle." Let's see. I will give you 2 hours, so what is it?" "Hit on any girl that I choose." "Kurama, have you gone insane?" "I will tell Hinata that you need some brain surgery." Quit the high-class act. You are just afraid you can't do it. Also, Hinata won't mind you getting another woman in the first place, and I only said to make them attracted, not to get to that stage." Kurama replied with a smirk. "You are on. So what do I win?" "What do you want?" "Nothing really, but if I win, you act like a fox for a week," Naruto replied with a smile as he landed and cancelled the invisibility. "We will see," Kurama said with a smile. He was sure that the type of woman he chose would not tolerate him. "Your loss." Naruto smiled as he had just scored some girls with his body and personality. He was outgoing and thoughtful, the best type of person to hang out with no matter the age group. "Who's the mother flipping king of games?" "I am the mother flipping king of games." "No need to celebrate so much. I thought you might have lost touch with your base skill and didn't expect sluts to actually like you genuinely." Kurama had chosen the kind of girls Naruto disliked very much, and the girls would also dislike him for his words. They slept around without caring for anything except pleasure, while Naruto would preach the negatives of such a thing, and how it was degrading to themselves to do such an act. It was a total reversal that he ended up talking a group of sluts out of their sluttery in one day. He will never stop from surprising others. Talk no jutsu will always be the most dangerous skill. No one has survived its effect, Kurama thought with a huge smile as he was happy with the result. It wasn't much. I have handled worse, and people are easy to handle once you can start reading them. Not wrong, but most people won't be able to do it. It's your special skill. Yeah, one I am grateful for always. Look, our new friend is on a date. How about we crash it? Sometime you can so evil. Let's do it. Kurama smiled with his tails swishing as the duo sat atop a high-rise building in New York. Naruto pointed towards Kurt that was moving around with a girl. Hey bro, I hope I am not disturbing your date. Kurt felt his skin turn cold. His heartbeat increased at hearing the voice. He turned to look at the blonde man and unconsciously put himself between his girlfriend and Naruto. Is he a friend? His girlfriend Amanda Sefton asked curiously. She was a normal human, but one filled with outer and inner beauty. But that was just her guise, as Amanda was not some normal human, just like Kurt wasn't a normal mutant. She was a mage, and she had known Kurt since childhood as they had met when he was part of the circus. Her brother and Kurt worked at the circus, but they separated as Amanda followed her mother. Now she was here with him, but Kurt didn't know her backstory and only met her on a blind date. Amanda loved him, but she was still checking him out, to make the final decision of taking vengeance on him, or not, as Kurt had murdered her brother. She didn't know the circumstances and couldn't ask him directly, so she was seeing his routine life. If he was a murderous monster, then he would strike once again, but the 3 months of dating had only shown a kind man with a dark past that haunted him. Yes, a friend. How may I be of help, teacher? Kurt said as he looked at Naruto with suspicion. The man had given the playful type of introduction, and he was unsure what he wanted to do here. He wasn't a fan of surprises. Kurt, relax. I just want to know you better, Naruto spoke as he felt the curiosity. Is this really the time? Kurt whispered away from Amanda. Of course this is the time. I will make your date better with my shining appearance. You just want to ruin it, don't you? Trust me, it's going to be fun. I will teach you how to lead a relationship since you are quite reserved. Naruto slapped his back and turned back towards Amanda. Kurt did not expect that answer. I might have been too quick on my judgment, but how is he going to help? Amanda, this is my teacher Naruto Uzumaki. You wouldn't mind if we showed him around? Kurt turned to Amanda as she stared at the duo with her bright blue eyes as her long blonde hair was whipped by the wind. I don't mind, Amanda replied with a smile that warmed Kurt's heart. She was his first love, and he had never felt anything like this for anyone. He believed they were meant for each other. Naruto looked at the couple and saw a mess as he could read the memories without even trying, so the picture was clear to him. Amanda was in disguise. She loved Kurt but still kept her secret as she tried to find the reason why he killed her brother. She is far from normal, Naruto thought as he looked at the young sorceress. Thank you. I will try to be on my best and provide any assistance that you may require, Naruto said as he looked at the duo with a gentle smile. Look at Spider-Man. H, Kurt screamed internally as they saw the Green Goblin followed by Spider-Man. Hey Spidey, how is it going? Naruto asked as he appeared beside him. Wonderful. I believe this is quite a lovely day for one goblin ass-whopping. Great minds think alike. Do you require any assistance, Captain? Nothing much private, but I would appreciate the civilians' safety. Affirmative, Captain. The safety has been guaranteed. The ass-whopping is about to commence, Peter said with a chuckle as he dodged a bomb and threw it in the sky before moving towards the target. He had just been enjoying his date with MJ when this happened for the nth time. The day was ruined, but the man from yesterday seemed to have a good way of cheering him up. Talking to him made his stress level decrease and made him enjoy the fight as there was no risk to the people anymore. Catching debris with his web, Peter spun it around and smashed it into the goblin. The impact sent him crashing into the trees of the nature park. Before he could get up, Peter used his web to catch his leg and smashed him into the ground and followed it up with hitting his back with both legs. Launching himself high into the air, Peter used the web to accelerate his fall, and the impact caused a crater. The battle was so much easier when no civilians were involved. Peter had finally caught his worst enemy, and this time, jail time. Good battle. I am impressed by such skills, and with no teacher, Just Subarashi. Naruto clapped as he walked into the clearing along with Kurt, who had turned into his nightcrawler form, foregoing his human disguise. Mutants weren't universally hated or anything, but the species were discriminated, and it had been rising these days. Mutants were just like other super beings, but unlike the other supers, they were disliked. This came from the fact that other supers were not natural and were low in number, while mutants were an actual species that was growing in numbers. The fear of people with powers roaming the streets while having no chance of surviving against them was very real. No one could live among lions and tigers, and mutants were worse. These fears were real and were further given voice by extremist pro-human organizations, and further worsened by Magneto. The X-Men had managed to keep it under control, but this was a delicate balance that could break any day. So someone like Kurt, who was clear but mutant or demon, had to hide his appearance. Thanks for the help and compliments. I hope my friends didn't cause you any problems. Peter webbed Gigi and hung him upside the tree before turning to them. Haven't met them yet, but I will be visiting today. Want to come along? Nah, got something to do. Night, you hanging with him? Yeah, you might not believe it, but he is my teacher now. No way, bro. How did that happen? Hey, beat the shit out of everyone at the school. Sounds like an awesome introduction that I would love to hear about, but toodles for now. Good guy but suffers from lack of focus, Naruto commented as he turned around. Really? You are right, he acts so hyperactive all the time. Sometime you just need outside help to see the path. I will check with him later since he is a good kid and I like his fighting style. Back to the date? Yes. With that, Naruto teleported them close to where Amanda was waiting. Thank you for being a nice person, Kurt said with an awkward smile as he sat on the bench beside Naruto with an apple drink. No probs, I enjoyed the company. It reminded me of old times, Naruto muttered with a nostalgic tone, thinking about Sasuke and Sakura. So why me? Kurt was curious about Naruto's appearance. Luck and you are kind of similar to me. Kurt turned his head and looked Naruto from head to toe. I don't see the similarity. No blue skin and shit. Hee, no, I am talking about personality. Are you serious? Unbelievable, Kurt spoke with a dramatic tone as he heard something out of the world. I don't need to see your lackluster acting skills, boy. Time changes everyone and you are talking to me safely without breaking down because I give of a peaceful aura, Naruto replied calmly. Does that mean I am being mind-controlled? No, it just means that you don't think I will harm you. It is a natural part of my being. So, what do you need me for? You are perfect and know everything. You just taught me like it was nothing. It makes me feel like you have women hanging off all the time with such skills, Kurt said as he finished the drink and threw it in the bin. Friendship isn't based on give and take, so just enjoying each other's company is enough. Hell, I got no issue with that. I don't have many friends myself, so let's see how it goes. What do you do for fun? Kurt chuckled as he got up. Many things that you like and many things that you don't like, Naruto replied with a wide smile. Do you enjoy giving vague answers? Yes, I feel like it's fun sometimes. Okay, so let's just walk around and mess with people for a start. Naruto stared at him with a serious gaze and smiled. Ooh, nice, but let's postpone it to tomorrow. Playtime is over and I need to get back to work. With that he vanished from sight, leaving his new friend hanging. At the Stark Tower, some of the Avengers had assembled for a meeting with the unknown alien that had come with bad tidings. Sentry, Bruce Banner, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark were the only ones present while the rest were busy with their own things. Thor had gone back home because of relationship problems. Ant-Man and Wasp were busy with their own research or relationship. Black Panther was back to ruling his country. Hawkeye was with his family. Black Widow was on a mission for S.H.I.E.L.D. Strange was busy with the mystical realm and MS. Marvel was once again out of radio contact, leaving the brains of the team, the leaders and the main muscle behind to handle things on their own. Everyone sat around the table with coffee and some treats to appear friendly. One side the Avengers and the other side two aliens. You can stop staring at my wife or I might have to remove your eyes. Naruto broke the silence as he was waiting for them to speak. They had been sitting for 5 minutes, but they had just stared at him, analyzed him. He didn't mind, but Sentry kept glancing at Hinata for too long. Sorry, we just had short conversation before. And she said you were a coward, Naruto finished for him. Yes, and I hope you understand that we all have our problems, so our path is because of those choices. Okay, enough silence. I had a rough night, so I was hoping for you guys to take the lead, but you bastards always pushing me around. Tony got, and clapped his hands to get their attention as he cleared his face with the glass of water, splashing it on his face. Bruce got away from him as he almost got water on his head. Tony, please. What? He is saying to act like a civilized person, Steve finished for him. If you want me to do that, then carry me to washroom. I am too tired to get up. You are standing. I can't move my legs. Okay, enough of Steve's clown foolery. Welcome to the Stark Tower. My name is Tony Stark and these are my lackeys. And we make up the Avengers. We are poor blokes that risk their lives and time to save people in need. It has been going well, but we also had our bad times. I remember like it was yesterday when people threw eggs at me when I was eating at McDonald's. Tony, that was yesterday. Oh, I guess times never change. Now we have experience in fighting world threats and my little friend said you have brought good news about a world-ending threat. Wonderful. Please explain it in detail and what your suggestions are, and what your role in it is. The guests turned towards him and stared for a moment before Naruto spoke. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and this is my wife, Hinata Uzumaki. I am from a different world where all of us have the ability to control energy, and do whatever we want with it. Our world was one of the seedbeds for these aliens for their tree and it should have destroyed long ago, but the person in charge of this operation had a good heart, and decided not to. We survived, but more will come in the future once they see no one had contact from this region, and that this team hadn't moved to another area yet. We prepared and decided to go on the offense. This universe is where their main base exists, so we ended up here. They have many members of varying strengths, so I thought it would be a good idea to share this information with you since I saw your strength, and your world is also involved and might become a target. For more details, watch the video on the side and our role is clear-cut. We are going to fight them and kill them. Simple. Naruto explained slowly while Hinata showed them the slides and then turned on a video for them to watch, and passed these things to them to review for later. As my husband has clarified the situation, we would like to know if you would cooperate with us or not. If it involves Earth, we will help you. Simple as that, Tony answered in a serious tone. He might be a good person, but he wasn't willing to take part in some other species' war, especially for these unknown people. Earth might suffer for their mistakes. I see. I don't mind your choice as it is reasonable, but you will still need what I have to prepare for this threat, and I am also not feeling so nice anymore. Looking at that smile, Tony gripped the seat as he realized that Naruto was right. They needed the info to understand the severity of the threat, and the way to counter it. What do you need? Tony asked as he stopped Steve from speaking. This was a negotiation for tangible things, not some promises. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, as I am just doing my duty as a leader. I have no obligation towards your people and I could easily take away what I want, but that would make me a thug, so we follow the laws of equivalent exchange. I need data on your tech and I will give you everything about the enemy that I have gathered. You can't expect me to share everything, do you? Of course not. I just need information about the armor you are wearing. Tony stared at him. Fine. But don't expect me to explain anything to you or make a sample for you. I won't, Naruto said as he got up. Good day, gentlemen. Hope nothing goes wrong, and if you want to meet me, talk to Charles Xavier. Naruto looked at them and bid them farewell as he took the data from the storage device. Was that really the right choice? Steve muttered as he saw them leave. Why didn't you speak up, if you thought otherwise? We don't have the power to take part in some alien war. We have enough threats on our hand. If it does appear, then we can handle them with the countermeasures or negotiate again with them, since they are going to fight either way. I was thinking more on the case of their world. We might have learned something important, ways to fix this broken system. Maybe their world was the ideal place we want to build. I don't think you want to know how they built it. Sentry spoke up to stop this topic from growing. They seem to be the type to give out death sentences to criminals, as many people disappeared the day they arrived, Tony said as he showed them videos of places where people had disappeared. Why didn't you stop them? Steve and Banner were shocked at this reveal. They were serial killers and even law enforcement would have shot them down or been sentenced to death. I didn't want to fight them for this thing, especially when are not ready to face them. We can impose laws on people that have the ability to avoid it, and a fight between us would have caused too much damage. You intend to subdue them? Steve calmed down after hearing more about the people killed. Unlike the rest of the group members, he was fine with citizens shooting down criminals if they are 100% sure of it, and caught them red-handed with proof of their criminal activity. On the other hand, Sentry and Banner kept inside the law as their powers had caused too much damage, and were filled with guilt about it. The law was their crutch. Tony liked to toot his horn, but even he was living within the box as he found it too troublesome to go outside it. Hero business was more than enough, but fighting against the system and fixing everything from the roots was just too much for him, so he did the bare minimum. Fighting and making armors was his passion, so it was part of the bare minimum. Yes, or they will only cause more trouble for us once the government realizes their presence, or they start acting against it. I think we need to discuss this topic very seriously now instead of keeping it to ourselves, Banner suggested, and all of them sat back down. The next day, at the Bayville College, a new face had appeared, and he brought a big ego with his huge frame. Fred was a huge, obese, Caucasian boy from Texas. He had blonde hair styled in a mohawk with brown eyes. He was a person with short temper and very sensitive to people's remarks about his appearance. Fred had enrolled into the college because of Mystique, as she told him that he will find real friends in this place, people like him. The place was confusing to him, and he didn't know how to get to the office, so he did the best of the situation. "Hey, where's the principal's office?" Fred asked a blonde guy with a buff body. "Are you talking to me, lardass?" The young man felt insulted by Fred's tone and fought back. He was one of those people that just like to pick up fights. "What did you call me, lard, ass, hee." The man's chuckles were disturbed the mighty slap he got on his shoulder that sent him flying into the lockers. "Stop." Fred felt his body freeze as he heard a beautiful voice, and his eyes were attracted to the girl that appeared near him. "Please calm down. His words can't hurt you, so please don't become physical, as it will only cause trouble for you," Jean said in a gentle tone as she held Fred's hand and looked into his eyes. "We mutants need to stick together," Jean sent to his mind as she knew about him from Charles and seen the show where he took part in. Fred nodded in a daze and followed Jean to the office. "College life seems boring," Naruto's would clone muttered as he cleared the scene of the crime before anyone appeared. He had all the personality of Naruto, but the power was limited and no memories were transmitted to the original. The clone was here to keep watch over the kids. "I thought you were going to say, interesting." Kurama also placed a part of him here so that he could tell Naruto what was happening when necessary. "That's too cliché." It had been 2 days since Naruto had arrived in this new world and interacted with the X-Men. He had been a harsh and cruel teacher to the mutants, that even Logan seemed nice to them, but the few that followed his course saw the benefits. They saw the improvement in their powers as Naruto could replicate everything they had. It was surprising and something to connect with. Bobby, Scott, Rogue, Peter, Kitty and Kurt had found themselves within his grasp along with Jean and Logan. He was making them all capable fighters and even sorting out their lives. On the other hand, the mission was also going well as Naruto and Hinata had gathered a lot of data that could help their world. Naruto could easily send it back home but waited until more data was gathered since he couldn't keep on opening the portal again and again, as it would be asking for someone to locate his home world. Using Tony's data, Naruto was finally able to finish up a proper armor for himself, as his world still hadn't developed a proper AI and nanotechnology. Technology may have increased, but most of the time things were not very user-friendly and required strong users. This armor was a nano armor made from a neutron star that was compressed even more than it was naturally. To grow its capabilities, then turned into armor by making it into tiny pieces that moved together and formed overlapping structures so that the force was divided when hit, and there was more than one rank to break through. The armor was so heavy that not even Naruto could actually carry it, as it weighed 1 trillion tons and had its own gravitational field that was even enhanced to disturb the movement of the enemies. The only that could use it were Naruto and Hinata, as that was how Naruto made it, and used anti-gravity seals, so there was no weight for the user. The armor had many small seals to amplify its capabilities and was so damn strong that Naruto couldn't even scratch it. It required a solar system level of destruction to cause it become nothing. It also provided intense speed mode that was higher than Naruto's original speed even without enhancing it with his own chakra, and required Naruto to use super perception to full strength. Super perception was a skill that allowed the user to increase the mental strength and computation by max of 10 times. It was one of the basic skills that Naruto had developed alongside multitasking that allowed the user to divide his mind into pieces to take care of multiple tasks, and power dispersion that allowed the user to make shields that disperse the power into small parts before they could arrive on the body. Many shields could be superimposed. That skill was a complete cheat in Naruto's hand and anyone else that could make their body elemental, which means all the top rank fighters, since their body could actually follow the command at that level. This made them 10 times faster instantly, but only 3 could use it directly for an attack while others used it to dodge or plan out moves. With speed multiple times faster than light, and with a mass of trillion tons, the force of one punch would kill any threat, especially since it had anti-Regan and destruction seals. With the armor completed and a weapon made from adamantium, Naruto and Hinata were armed to the teeth for any encounter. I appreciate your good behavior as a visitor. Naruto walked into a study in a private house within a specific and safe region by traveling through space as he followed the scent of the energy he had extracted. It's nothing special, and thank you for not treating me like a criminal, Steven, Naruto replied with a relaxed smile as he walked closer to the man wearing casual clothes and extended his hand. Were you snooping around? Steven smiled as he took the hand and stood up, giving Naruto a friendly hug. Nothing much, just ask Charles, Naruto said as he separated and looked at him. He felt much better with Dr. Strange as he felt no fear for him and had no reason to fear him. It really is much better to stay with people of my league. No, bad boy, don't think like that. That's the giant ego talking. Kurama had been working overtime these days and finally appreciated the fact that he was a being of energy and required no sleep. Ah yes, how could I forget our old friend Charles? Steven found it ironic that a mind reader could have his mind read without any resistance. You seem to be having fun. I thought you might be stressed out about the threat, Strange commented as he felt the aura of friendliness unlike the one of solitude. Well, my partner wouldn't let me chill unless I made 100 friends, so I am working on that goal, and getting stressed out isn't my style. I like to take slowly and positively, as negative mindset will only destroy me, not my enemies, Naruto replied as he slipped into a chair and relaxed like it was his place. That is an interesting goal, but how do you know if you actually made a friend? Steven sat down and asked curiously. He knew about the abilities Naruto had shown, but getting an explanation was better. I can sense evil, goodwill in the feelings of the person. Plus I can read their minds and souls, so it is pointless lying to me. Naruto didn't hide these abilities as he thought that Steven would definitely ask for his help when he is open about some things. That is very convenient. I guess you don't have to deal with the fear of traitors, Strange muttered with a thoughtful look as he looked at Naruto while tapping the table. Sorry for being a bad host. Would you like something to drink? Tea or something cold? Tea will do, so, what have you found? Naruto replied as he glanced around the place filled with ancient and mystical knowledge. Steven nodded. Nothing good? Anything interesting to share? Naruto was now very much curious about what his new friend had learnt. Among the people he had met, only 2 people had shown power to fight him, Sentry and Strange. Sentry had more physical strength than him, and Strange had that magic of his that could mess with him if they fought. It won't be a nice battle for the world, that's for sure. Hulk was also a suspect, but that thing had 0 chance of ever fighting him properly because it was a statue, and statues don't fight. Then there was the being called Galactus that had visited this planet before, so Naruto was unsure how that would end up going since no one had a clear idea of his power. Naruto was clear-cut solar destroyer, as he had yet to create an attack that could destroy a galaxy, and his normal moves could destroy stars while his physical attacks could destroy planets like they were crackers. Regardless of his prowess, Naruto was sure about meeting all kinds of beings. Strange looked at Naruto. The guy was unknown, but really among the people he knew this man might be the most comfortable to hang out with. He was clear with what he wanted and seemed genuinely nice. It was completely natural, and he didn't show any fear either while knowing the level of his power. No matter how close you are to someone, people start to fear and treat you differently when you have too much power on hand. It was the reason Strange stayed away from those people and was happy living in the sanctuary with his wife and lover. Yes, Dr. Strange was the Chad. He had a wife and a lover, not just any lover but the mother-flipping sister of Dormammu. Relaying the command, the tea was getting ready in the kitchen as his women were busy with other things. Strange took a seat. After meeting you and handling my fight in the mystic realm, I went to my master and talked to him about it. From him I heard the same things you said about them, and he told me that they live at the center of this universe, in a personal dimension, but they have a branch that connects to it from the center. The Otsutsuki king has existed for unknown amount of time, as nobody knows the exact date, and his powers are vast. One thing is for sure, if he wants us then we can never resist him. Fortunately, the king has never been seen for a very long time and seems to sleep. His progeny on the other hand are like local tyrants that thrive on misery. They just enjoy causing chaos, so they fight with some of the other immortal species or just mess around the various universes. But what's alarming is that a group of them had come here long ago. There are clear depictions of their features in some old scriptures, so humans had definitely seen them. The problem is where they are, and if my conclusion is right then we are in big trouble soon. Listening to his words made Naruto serious, as he heard the worst kind of news as his enemy just became a bigger threat than ever. But the worst thing might that he might have just invited trouble for them. If the parasites were already here, then they must have planted the tree already, and it was no visible because of spatial techniques, meaning high-class members. It would also explain the interest of the planet Eater for Earth, and it would also explain the birth of such strong monster on this planet. The Otsutsuki might have been doing it on purpose to create mutations and then devour them to get new powers added to their list. Kaguya had only released the potential of humans after her rebirth, so it wouldn't be stretching it to conclude some other members had also noticed this thing and decided to harvest that potential since they were not in a hurry or anything. So what do you propose? Naruto smiled suggestively. Let's join hands. Great, but let's fight first. We need to know each together before we can work together. Naruto joined hands with him, and chuckled as he thought about the Avengers. He had already expected such a thing, so it would be fun seeing their expressions. I don't like fighting, but I can't ignore your words either, as your concerns are valid, so I will make an exception, and we can spar. In my pocket dimension, after some tea and biscuits, Naruto finished as he sat back down. Okay, we can also get in contact with Ghost Rider for this issue since he is a being of great strength. While in the Bayville College, Jean was accompanying the new mutant in town. She knew that Naruto was on the scene, so didn't hold back her powers and let him clear the scene. I hope he doesn't make a scene. Jean wasn't only afraid of Fred and the Brotherhood but also of Naruto, as she was unsure what he might do. She looked at the older man walking around casually as if he owned the place, and Jean knew that's what he thought since they had time to talk over the weekend. By his side was Rogue. She had grown closer to Naruto as each day passed on, as he was really nice to hang out with. She wasn't the only one, since even Jean felt the same way and the others around them. It was the proof of his mastery of the communication skills. I don't know how he does it. Even I can sense emotions and thoughts, but I don't get the same results. Jean thought, as she had even started taking classes from him about his communication skills and teaching skills, as they were the most effective she had ever seen in her life. He makes every moment seem so natural and enjoyable when you are with him. It doesn't feel boring, and all negative thoughts disappear around him. Jean was not realizing that her thoughts had been focused on Naruto since the night they met. He was her teacher and a guardian towards her people, but especially since he was also a strapping man. He was the type she liked, so he was easy on the eyes, just like Scott and Logan. She had yet to date anyone because training and studying had been her life, but Scott pursued her, and she felt something for him. Jean was unsure how to go about it since her emotions weren't as strong as Scott. Jean, are you listening? Fred asked as he was sitting with Jean in the mess hall during lunch while the others of the group gave Fred some space. Yes, of course. I found your tale about jumping from a mountain very interesting. You are very strong, Fred. I hope we can work together and help others in need, people in poor conditions. Jean focused on him and opened gently like a teacher guiding his pupil. I am strong. I will definitely protect you, Jean. Fred smiled shyly at getting praised. Good, and I will make sure to help you fit into society and make more friends. Fred nodded, and his eyes shifted to a man watching them. Is he one of us? He is calling me. Jean looked back where Fred pointed and saw Naruto waving at them. He is a friend, and you can trust him. Jean kept her expression neutral, as she could see that Fred was a sensitive guy and might be prone to jealous fits, as Naruto had informed her already when she passed him. Fred stared at Naruto and remembered the description about the unknown man that had come across the Brotherhood. He is supposed to be really strong. If I can beat him, then I can prove that I am better and Jean might like me. A simple thought process of a man of violence, so Fred got up from his seat and was about to throw it at Naruto. Relax before the chair could be picked up. Fred heard the voice and felt his body go limp. An immense pressure was projected on his body, and he felt like death was a few inches away. So scary, so scary. Sorry, Fred tried to scream, but his voice wouldn't come out. Naruto Rogue held his hand and Fred fell down on the floor powerlessly. Next time, don't try to be violent. Learn that there are people beyond you. Also, that would have made Jean unhappy. If you want to make her happy, then become a good person. Help her when she asks and help others in trouble without being asked, Naruto advised as he smiled at Rogue. He found it the experience warming his heart. I guess this is how family feels like. While Naruto was thinking of Rogue as family, Rogue was not really sure where she would put him, but for now he was her best friend and master. Jean massaged her head as she stood up to help Fred. Are you okay? I am fine, Fred managed to utter with difficulty and quietly sat down. He didn't talk for the rest for the break and ate without any trouble. I guess this is better than the trouble that would have come without his presence. Jean didn't fault Naruto for his reaction, as the consequences of Fred's outburst could have been worse, as people might have found about their mutant abilities. I really am curious why you would be out in the open and so close to your rivals, Naruto said as he had entered the principal's office. We have similar targets, and it's not like we are trying to kill each other. Mystique, in her real form wearing skimpy clothing, spoke to Naruto in a calm tone while she stood up from her seat. Heh, are you serious? Naruto looked at her questioningly. Of course, we were friends once. Is the main focus here, Naruto said as he knew that she had personally tried killing her previous friends many times. Well, you got me. I made some mistakes in the past, but now I am trying to be better with the kids. What do you really want? You can read my mind, she asked as she stood in front of him, barely inches away from his body. Nothing, I just came to say hi. I hope we can work together and remember my offer, Naruto said as he whispered into her ears and hugged her body. His golden hand touched her full lips, and Mystique didn't know what happened, but she was on the floor dazed and Naruto had left. There was a puddle beneath her body. Mystique looked at the scene in shock and stammered like a kid at what she assumed happened. You shouldn't try seducing me. It's kind of impossible, as I don't react to just the body. Mystique heard his voice in her head as she felt clear-headed. That insufferable man, Mystique muttered in a frustrated tone. I hope you listen to Jean and don't make trouble again, Naruto said in a neutral tone with an expressionless face as he patted Fred's shoulder, causing the blob some pain. Fred was sitting outside the college building as he had no class at the moment, when the demon appeared near him like a ghost and whispered those words. He was unable to do anything but nod. An instinctual fear had been carved into his soul as he interacted with the man. Fred had never felt pain to this level, and the fact that all his powers were useless, and that mere words were enough to kill him, had destroyed his ego. Good boy. Naruto got up from the bench and walked away. He is all yours, Jean. Butter him up and treat his broken soul, Naruto said as he passed by Jean with a smile that he had done a good deed. Jean suppressed her scream as she covered her face with her hands. That insufferable man, Jean wanted to beat some sense into him. Why did he have to go to the extremes in everything? Jean questioned and found no answer, as she barely knew him. Let's just focus on the current situation. Focus. Jean slapped her cheeks and smiled as she walked closer to Fred. Hello, Fred, are you feeling okay now? Jean spoke in a gentle tone. Her expression showed concern for his well-being that it brought instant smile to the blob. Naruto, what have I said about mind-breaking people? Kurama said as he tapped his claw on the table, which was part of the mindscape image. They were inside a classroom and Naruto was sitting on the seat while Kurama was standing behind the desk. That I should avoid it unless it is necessary. And was it? Kurama spoke pointedly. Of course, I had no way to convince this strong-minded kid otherwise. Bull shit. Kurama slammed his paw on the desk. Relax, I am serious. Look at this pure soul of mine, Naruto replied as he extended his hand that glowed dark. It's pitch black like your tongue. Have you gone colorblind now? Fine, I felt like having some fun, Naruto said proudly. Okay, I am sorry and I won't do it again, Naruto apologized as he saw Kurama's expression. Truly? Yes, I always keep my promises to you, brother, Naruto replied as he got up and hugged Kurama. He knew that this was all for him, but he just felt tired sometimes trying to act what he was not. I know it is hard on you, but you need this. I know how it feels to be alone and hated. 110. Hated it, Kurama said as he looked into Naruto's eyes. Fine, no need to go through a sob story, Naruto rubbed his head. Do you think we have gone crazy? Kurama asked as he lay in his arms. Why would you think that? I don't know, maybe this situation, Kurama felt weird. You are just imagining. It's normal to act a play with your brother. Yeah, you are right. I might be seeing things. Wait a bloody minute. When did this start? When did what? This? How did we end up playing like kids? Maybe the insane amount of training got to us. We might need some therapy. Nah, I will go and get myself a lap pillow on those thick thighs while you can sleep on my head like usual and enjoy the ride. Thick thighs save lives. Kurama gave a toothy smile and a thumbs up. You got me, bro. Thumbs up from Naruto before he left the mental world. Raven was sitting in her office after having cleaned up. She had tried to ignore the man, but it seemed to be impossible. He is going to intervene no matter what. Raven understood the man after she had observed him and met him again. He was a troublemaker. Raven was definitely disturbed by his presence, but she hadn't made any trouble since learning about Kurt. She had made sure to observe him closely and learn about him. My child has definitely suffered a lot, but I can't even meet him now. He pretty much hates me at the moment, but what can I do? I can't join them. Their goals are just ridiculous and beyond stupidity. Raven mused as she clenched her hands at the thought of Kurt getting hurt for some human. A world away from all humans, Raven remembered and started considering this option. It was the most liable one, but she still needed to kill off the people that wanted to destroy her kind. It just wasn't easy to let go of the negative emotions inside her heart even when peace was so close. I can't take this step as it is unknown whether it was the truth or a lie. Raven justified her choice as she thought on how to get new mutants to join their cause and make Naruto go away. Out in space, Wanda was looking for her brother, not knowing that he was messing around on Earth. Pietro Maximoff was 19 years old, with white hair and a slim body. Pietro was a man of loyalty, as he had sworn to help Magneto after being saved by him, but he was also a playful person and enjoyed his downtime outside of missions. So here he was in New York playing with the populace like a fiddle. His super speed allowed him to move without being noticed, so he enjoyed picking up some wallets and items that he liked. Pietro gave people wedgies, took of their pants, and even sometime took of their whole clothes. He decided to go further by robbing a bank and then by a Lamborghini, and was joined by the friendly neighborhood Spider. Hey bro, how is it going? Pietro greeted Spidey with a friendly smile. Great, just awesome since you gave me a chance to leave my hot girlfriend. I am sensing some hostility. You think, Peter replied as he had webbed the whole place. Not gonna work, so go back to your date, Pietro muttered with a smile and ran through the webs that couldn't handle his speed as he surpassed the speed of lightning. Pietro, follow the signal and get the girl away from the X-Men. Quicksilver heard the command from above and changed direction, while increasing his speed to the max as he thought that Magneto was unusually serious. Maybe it's his daughter, Pietro thought with a smile as he appeared at the place within a second and saw Logan outside the door of a house. What should I do? Fight them, but Wolverine's body is too hard, so it's better to just take the girl, Pietro thought as he aimed for the window but was stopped by a lightning bolt. Storm, babe, what are you doing? I could have gotten hurt, and then how would I be able to enjoy that chocolate body of yours? Pietro said in a flirty tone as he sidestepped all the attacks from Cyclops and Strum while keeping distance from Logan. Pietro, you had the guts to set up my nephew, Strum said in anger, as she had just gotten Evan out of jail and found out the culprit. Who? Quicksilver said questioningly. Spy Kid, I asked him to join me but he just had to say no. Stop running, Logan screamed in annoyance. No can do, Pietro teased as he took the chance to jump inside and took the girl that had been watching from inside after hearing the noise. Stop him, Logan shouted, but it was pointless as Silver ran faster than they could respond. The girl had not reacted to him catching her, but once he started moving fast, she let out magnetic pulses and Pietro was feeling short of breath. He felt his body hurt and dropped the green-haired girl. She was dangerous to his health. Babe, that was just too naughty. Who are you? The fastest man in the universe, Quicksilver at your service. Lorna Dane did not know how to react to the man that had just kidnapped her, and was acting so casually. He was dangerous as she had seen him play around with the X-Men with ease and even cause havoc across cities before. I don't know what to do. Why does he want me? Why are you after me? Because you are a mutant and not the fastest now, kid. Naruto appeared behind Pietro and held his head, causing him to gulp as he felt the iron-like grip. Oh crap baskets. Nice kid. Say hi to Magneto and tell him that I am waiting for his response, so call me soon, Naruto said with a smile as he held his hand towards Lorna. Come here, child, I will take you home. He turned to the girl and muttered in a gentle tone as he imagined that he was talking to Kurama. Please stop doing that, it's uncomfortable. Deal with it. Lorna was dazzled by his appearance, and nodded as she walked to him, and took his hand. Good girl. Lorna had been praised many times, but this simple statement made her feel so tingly, and she blushed at his words. Naruto explained the situation to Lorna once they arrived back home. She listened to him carefully while checking him out. Naruto was not dense to not notice her attraction towards him, but he felt that it was just a flight of fancy, and didn't really care except for the drama it would bring because Lorna's identity was just that. Interesting. Will you be teaching me? Lorna asked. She was not thinking right and had forgotten to ask what would happen to her normal studies and life. If you can handle it, then I will love to teach you some tricks. Magneto is so blowing a fuse at the moment. I don't even need to look at him. I will join, so what forms do I need to fill? Lorna replied happily as she realized that getting to meet such people might help her, as she had felt different at certain times. I will let the man handle it. We will meet later, so relax, Naruto muttered gently as he touched her chin and tapped her cheek. Lorna felt her face get real hot, and the scenery changed as she was standing inside a study with a bald man sitting in front of her. Welcome, Charles began the usual sermon once he realized who had arrived. Up in space, Magneto was angry, and not just angry but furious. Naruto had made him lose 2 powerful mutants, and had become an iron wall in his path. He slapped Pietro across the face as the young man stood in front of him in shame. Get out, come back when you have done something useful. Pietro felt those words hurt him and he disappeared from the room. Wanda looked towards Magneto, and knew he didn't mean it but was just too angry. We need to help him somehow. I guess it's time for me to make a move, Wanda thought as she followed Pietro. Magneto tried to calm his mind. His plan to take over all of the world's weapons system had become impossible once he realized how many obstacles he had to face. But that was if he actually wanted the humans alive, so he decided on the extinction of the majority was the right method. So before that he needed to recruit the mutants, and keep them under his rule. He had recruited few when compared to the larger picture, as there were always nuisances, from the Avengers to the X-Men and whatnot. He should not have messed with us, Magneto thought as he clenched his hand. He was angry but always cautious. Send the Juggernaut, he commanded. Magneto had many cards in his hand to handle difficulties. Juggernaut was one of the best, other than the ace card that was too unpredictable and might kill him. Rogue felt somehow bored and restless as she realized that something was missing. Naruto had for the first time left her for so long. She knew he has his wife to keep him company, but Rogue wished they wouldn't leave her out. Since the day they met, Rogue had developed a strong bond with Naruto, and took in his restless nature that was acting up when she had nothing to do. She didn't know that a clone had been accompanying her and found the new college life much better. It allowed her to completely forget about her insecurities. Knowledge about mutants was common, and people always seemed to keep them under watch. It was like when someone with a gun came inside a room. People would unconsciously watch them. Not everyone was discriminating, but the extra attention wasn't appreciated, and it was worse for Rogue as the risk of her power causing death was much higher. But since Naruto started attending the college seemed to have changed. If she didn't know him, Rogue might have thought he forced the dean to relay the true information about mutants to help people understand the actual situation. She felt the need to open her wings and fly, so she donned the UMBU uniform that Naruto provided, since the X-Men uniform showed her face and all. I wonder if there is any fun in being a superhero, Rogue thought as she moved through the night towards the next city with speeds that she would have never imagined. Anna felt that meeting Naruto had been the best thing in her life as she ran like she was flying through the night at Mach 3. This was just the result of working hard for 2 days with some of Naruto's power. If she had more time or power, then she would be literally causing massive destruction by moving. It was such a bizarre but curious thought that Rogue felt that she might have been influenced by Naruto's ideas. Or is it mine? Rogue was not sure, as she did imagine at certain times the world burning, especially the case of her school burning down regularly. Peter had been thinking very hard this week and realized that the superhero business had become truly difficult. He had met Naruto and felt like life was over. Then he came across Quicksilver. The speedster defeated him quite easily, making it one of Peter's worst battles. It would have been okay if he had made a comeback, but Quicksilver operated on a different level, so Peter doubted he could take the mutant unless he was ready with some chemicals or had the help of the Avengers. Man, I miss Naruto. Why can't I have a partner like him? Peter thought as he looked at the new enemy. The man was huge with a muscular body and had the look of a humanoid rhino. The enemy was cocky as heck. He was literally walking through everything without any obvious purpose. The Rhino had been in New York to kidnap Jonah Jameson's son, but had been defeated by Peter by utilizing his intellect and skills. The Rhino was stronger but too linear and stupid. He lacked the skills to utilize his power efficiently. Man, the authorities are useless as usual, but this time it's even worse. I sent this guy packing just 3 days ago. Peter wanted to sigh at the inadequate facilities and response of the authorities when he witnessed another intruder. Peter could see that it was a woman from her body, but he couldn't remember anyone like her. She appeared in the place where the Rhino should have been and was standing there looking a bit surprised. Rhino had been sent flying into a building as she crashed into him. I was prepared for Rhino, but now what? Peter wasn't sure if she was an ally or an enemy. The Rhino wasn't down with the hit and threw the debris up as he charged at Rogue. Dodge! Spider-Man screamed as he knew that the horn was extremely durable. Rogue heard the warning and looked at the slow-moving target. She took a step forward, dodged the horn and elbowed his left cheek with her chakra enhancement. The attack caused the rhino to scream in pain as his teeth were shattered and his jaw was unhinged. Cool, Rogue muttered with a smile. She felt really excited now. Rogue felt the rush of adrenaline from being an invincible being in front of mortals. The enemy that would have crushed her a week ago was like a bumbling child. The hero she thought was very impressive seemed so slow and weak through her new eyes. I need to focus. Don't let the power cloud my mind. Rogue remembered Naruto's words. He had mentioned that his powers were large but came with an arrogant mindset that could be the undoing of an unskilled user. The rhino screamed in pain as he held his jaw. He had just been sent flying again, but this time gotten real damage. It hurts. He screamed in rage as he glared at Rogue, breathing loudly, but even he had his limits, and fear was setting on him as the girl looked towards him. Those eyes carried no mercy. Hey, stop, that's enough. The big guy is down for the count already. Peter came to the rescue of the rhino while capturing him with his new sticky webs. Rogue looked at him and then to Rhino. The heroes are inefficient. They can beat the villains, but the system doesn't deal with them right. Rogue had asked Naruto about it, and this one of the things he mentioned. This villain would escape if she let him go like that. Okay, I am done, Rogue muttered as she appeared behind Rhino and tapped his head. A seal was carved into his skin. Do anything evil and you will understand true pain? Rogue left those words as she left the scene. Peter massaged his head. He was starting to hate speedsters, and walked towards Rhino. Okay, big man, you going to jail, and since the chick might have just cursed you with some magic mojo, I hope you change into a good man, Peter advised as he patted the rhino's shoulder like a good friend and left the scene as the authorities came to take in the villain. Deep underground in the snowy mountains, a facility was being maintained where individuals with powers were being held in prisons designed appropriately. In this prison, there were two such individuals that could be menace to the world. One such individual was a large buff man, the size of an elephant. He was the stepbrother of Charles Kane, also known as the Juggernaut. To help Magneto, Pietro and Wanda decided to carry out this task. It wasn't difficult since the institution held the prisoners but had barely caught most of them personally, so with such powerful villains, it was an easy job. Juggernaut, Charles has been enjoying his life a lot, rich and powerful, so sad that his brother is just a prisoner, Pietro muttered sarcastically, pissing of the man as he was freed from the liquid metal prison holding him down. He couldn't even move his body before, and it seems the master was angry with his methods, so the power was a lot less than usual for this long, or else no prison could hold him down. Hearing those words brought to his mind the brother he hated so much, that smile and joy that should belong to him. Juggernaut screamed as he broke the final hold, and his crimson armor appeared. He glared towards the kids looking at him. Where is he? The same place, Wanda replied. Juggernaut thought that was enough and started moving. He plowed through the walls and the mountain like an unstoppable force. I will watch over him, Pietro muttered as he followed from behind. He wanted to see how the blonde bastard was going to deal with this. The night was beautiful and the couple dined under the moonlight after a day of work. They didn't get tired unless they actually used their chakra too much, but kept up the act with the fear of losing their humanity piece by piece. They were having a nice meal on top of a platform floating far above the clouds and enjoying each other's presence. Hinata sat in his lap and they fed each other mouth to mouth. Their honeymoon phase had restarted, and now that training wasn't occupying him, Naruto's desires were raring to go. His desire was fully on display and Hinata enjoyed it very much. It made her happy that he continued to love her very much, even though it sent her to unconsciousness every time as he was insatiable. Dear, a threat is moving towards the people. I know, Kurama. I will handle it. It's been too long since I fought with my own body, Kurama said in an excited tone as his body entered a portal and arrived in the pocket dimension of Naruto's creation. It was a sand planet. He wasn't the only one transported here, as Kane ended up running into the portal that appeared in his way along with Sentry. A beauty at hand and a battle to spectate. This is the life, Naruto said in a relaxed manner as his hands became naughtier. Hinata's moans were like music to his ears and he kissed those inviting lips again. Magneto was not a simple man. He was cautious and always ahead of his foes. Juggernaut may be strong, but he knew that Naruto possessed unknown skills and speed that would keep him safe from the giant's hands. As such, when Juggernaut had been running towards the mansion, Magneto had decided to give the Avengers a visit. Magneto was smart, but arrogance blinded him, and seeing Naruto's personality, he expected him to act similarly, and not have made connections properly. He never expected that Naruto had already made contact with the Avengers, or that Naruto would go out of his way to move the battle to a different place. It was evening and the sky was filled with chilly winds. The Stark Tower was shining like always when the top gate was broken apart like tissue paper. This aggressive action sent alarms off inside the tower, and many iron bots attacked the intruder, but were powerless against the force of Magneto. He looked at the toys with a calm grace. They were nothing to him, and he sent them back into the tower. The impact of the bots colliding with the building destroyed parts of the structure. "Why are you here?" "No, what are you doing?" Tony asked in a very annoyed tone as he appeared in his suit that had resistance to Magneto's powers. "I am here to play with you children, is that so wrong?" Magneto replied with a smile and pointed towards Tony, which sent him hurling back into the tower. Tony did not like that one bit as he saw the elderly man play with him, but he was not distracted by his actions and analyzed carefully the reason. "He is acting very suspicious," Tony thought as he crashed into the wall. Tony looked through the satellite to find anything unusual happening and found Juggernaut running towards the city from his prison. "Juggernaut, Sentry, can you handle this?" Tony contacted with their ace and sent him the data. "On it, deal with Magneto or I will come back soon," Sentry replied while Tony concentrated on his foe that was attacked by Hulk. "It will be over soon." Magneto smiled at them. "I will not allow you to intervene, children. My friend Naruto intends to have a good battle, so please stop." His words confused Tony as he had met Naruto. He didn't seem the type to cause damage or even fight without a cause. Is he trying to bait us into a fight with him? Hee, this is just funny. Ha ha ha, oh man, this is just too funny. Sentry flew towards Juggernaut when he found himself flying through a portal and appearing in a world filled with sand. He couldn't see any life on this planet. Where am I? He had noticed the portal, so he knew he had just arrived in a different world by just looking at the sky. It only had one star. Roar! Just as he was thinking about things, Sentry found the world shaking as giant golden fox with 9 tails appear, causing the sand to spread out in the air. It was like a mountain, and from its expression he could tell that it was intelligent. Sentry decided to spectate as he wanted to see what it wanted and found that it was targeting Juggernaut. Is it personal, or what is the purpose for this? Sentry wasn't a fighting maniac, so he could never think of that purpose. Kurama was happy to fight as it allowed him to release his stress and use his powers. His body felt rusty not fighting for months. In this decade, Naruto had been one of the most constant foes for Kurama, so he was used to losing every day, and to counter those losses he fought other foes, where he won and built up experience. This decade had given him more fighting experience than all his life combined. Of course, the best improvement came from the fact that Naruto also trained using him, so Kurama also gained that experience. In his strongest state, Kurama would take a human form exactly like Naruto, as Naruto was what defined strength for him. He was the man that had covered him in this color and brought life to this dull world. The giant paw came down like an avalanche at speeds that would rend the world apart if Kurama wanted, but with control nothing of the sort happened, and his claw crashed into the unstoppable force. Kurama felt that his attack did nothing as there was something blocking the damage, and Juggernaut just had his direction changed. Interesting, Kurama showed his teeth, giving a wide-faced grin that looked very much evil. Kane stopped as he realized that he had arrived in a desert. He was too stupid to notice another world. There was a giant monster attacking him and stopping him from getting to his brother. "How dare you try to stop me? I will kill you!" Kane screamed as he locked onto Kurama and ran towards him. Kane was not a mutant like his brother Charles, but blessed by an immortal being called Sidorak. Sidorak was a magical being of immense power that lived in another dimension, a higher tier being of unimaginable power. In his military days, Kane Marco had been on a mission with his brother when they found the lost temple of Sidorak, and Kane took ruby from an idol. On the ruby were scripture he could read, and from that forth Kane had been chosen by his Sidorak. He became the human Juggernaut, but his powers could fluctuate according to the mood of his immortal master. But the power made him practically invincible. Nothing could ever damage him, and even if the universe exploded he would survive. Invincibility didn't mean he was impossible to handle. He was stupid and his attacks weren't at the level of his defense. There were times when his unstoppable force was used against him, since he had trouble stopping once he started the dash. But here he didn't have much choice, since street fighting wasn't going to handle a monster of such size. Seeing him coming, Kurama's tails lashed out but were pushed aside before thousands of smaller golden tendrils appeared from underground to pierce him. Just like usual, nothing got to him, and he ran through them. Is that so? Try this. Kurama was enjoying this toy and locked on as he focused energy on his mouth, and released the beam. The beam had been charged and extended beyond the planet, but the target just ran through it. Wow, he is showing no effort at all. Do you want me to break the link? Naruto asked as he could sense the link to the immortal master of Cain. Cain might be unstoppable, but he had a severe weakness to mental attacks. It was the reason his brother had been the one to take him out and imprison him. That helmet might help with Charles, but Naruto was another picture, and he easily read through him like an open book. The link was to a strong being, and this might anger him if he broke it, but Naruto was never afraid of scum. He would never make compromises, especially since the immortal monster might not even have the ability to leave his dimension. No, let me enjoy it. Kurama smiled as his eyes turned towards Sentry. Sentry noticed that gaze, and he saw that the fox released more beams from its tails. Half of them were focused on Cain while half came at him. While Kurama was having fun, Naruto summoned Magneto and Mystique with a thought as his head lay on the thick thighs and Hinata's hands brushed his hair. Appearing in the air without any resistance shocked them, but his presence gave them a fright and anger. Sigh. I was giving you a chance, Magneto, but you treated me like I was one of them. You are just an evil old man, no matter how you justify it. Your pride led you astray and made you choose the wrong options every time. Since I was feeling a little bit merciful and sympathetic about your situation, I gave you a chance to choose properly and help your people, but this was your choice, Naruto said as he showed them the screen. Disappointing, really disappointing. I thought you were a smart person. Why did you think your life was untouchable? Did you actually think I would let you live? I don't make compromises with anyone. I give second chances to people that haven't gone too far off the line and regret those decisions with the desire to change for the better. I have never allowed any being to live that has never regretted those actions. You do not regret those decisions, and you do not regret this decision. Let's see, if I hadn't interfered, then about 20,000 people would have died and billions of property damage would have happened, but this is no consequence to you because they have nothing to do with you. Naruto's voice came from all around them, and they felt none of the warmth it usually carried. It was not the normal Naruto, but the immortal king that gave out the cruelest of orders without any hesitation. I will take care of your people. With those words, Magneto was no more. He had struggled with all his power, and the danger had even stimulated his genes to a higher level, but the power to affect the electromagnetic spectrum were cancelled out by Naruto's connection to the world. Magneto was just a thief that took what he wanted while Naruto was the lover. There was just no comparison between them, and the fact Naruto had more energy to overpower him sealed the deal. Mystique never imagined her friend dying like this and closed her eyes with tears as she felt the pain from the loss, and the fact that she would never talk to her son. Open your eyes, Raven, and join us to see this show. I will let you handle the group and place your people on an island far from others. This island will be protected by my powers so you can live without any worries, and it will have everything you will need. Mystique felt herself land on a platform, and she heard his calm voice again that affected her pained heart. Clearing away the tears, she nodded and sat down in a corner, afraid of angering him.